believe at this point in my life, all right, that no matter what comes my way, that we can work together to overcome it, all right? But that being said, it's time for something new. Which vest is best? Which vest is e-beggar best? Okay, vest is best. Vest.
Yeah, young cat, got that 150 on my chest. Bitches all around me, and they let me touch their breast. Got that saggy man boobs flowing, but that members count keeps growing. So I got to put it on a
vest. Best. Vest is best.
150.
Okay.
150
For the vest.
Okay.
150, and I put it on my chest.
Okay. The vest goal has been pretty hard to hit recently, and that's tough when, you know, things are tight. I get it. Things have been tight for a lot of people, you know. Another thing I don't want people to freak out about is the members. The members right now are super low.
Yes, I'm feeling fucking blessed. Begging for hats and glasses and a vest. Hoping that the pay-pigs will impress. Everybody's begging me, stop spending on the WWE.
Which vest, okay, is best? Which vest is e-beggar best?
150.
Vest.
150.
Best. Which vest
For the best.
is best? Which
150, and I put it on my chest.
okay, vest is best. Vest.
All right, let's get ready, I guess.
Okay.
I don't know what I'm gonna watch today. Probably some old Phil stuff, because I found out that they're just more watchable, man. You can go watch any of his like unboxing stuff and all that trash from back in the day. At least he is somewhat tolerable as a human being. And nowadays he's not even a human being. He's just some like Dark Souls-esque monstrosity. It's completely fallen apart and degraded. There's nothing left of him outside of just begging and narcissism. He's just the narcissistic monster.
It's like this. But I'm Darkside Phil.
He's Darkside Phil though.
I am not any other content creator or streamer. I'm Darkside Phil.
I'm the guy.
I'm the guy. An e-baking scammer. I'm the guy. Mark my fucking words. Stupid anime bitch. I'm the guy. 14 years as an e-beggar and a scammer and WWE champion. Take a look around. I'm the guy. Life is tough right now. I guess I'm proud to be a loser. Down there at level 1. Well, you know what? It's nice at level 1. I'm the guy. An e-baking scammer. Please hit me. I'm the guy. Mark my fucking words. Stupid anime bitch. I'm the guy. I'm the guy. An e-baking scammer. I'm the guy. Take a look around. Stupid anime bitch. I'm the guy. I'm the guy.
Alright, let's get another couple minutes and then we're gonna dive into whatever. Let's hear Italian Life.
Now what does the sugar do in the sauce?
Add sweetness.
We can check out the sauce making stream. Not stream, but you know, the videos.
Potatoes.
Right.
And then spice.
Tart and it's acid and nothing else. Alright. So now we gotta stir all that in and then we add our final ingredients and then the meat.
This one's for all my baby girls.
Italian life. Italian wife. Italian bills. Italian Darkside Phil. Italian life. Italian wife. Italian chill. Italian can't give her a pill.
I'm half kind of European mix.
European style, Asian fusion style tips. Greasy hair. Pasta once a week. The authentic style, Asian fusion style, Italian. Guess what else we're gonna add?
What?
Sausage. Italian sausage. That's gonna go in here too.
I love sausage. I have had many varieties.
Italian life. Italian wife. Italian bills. Italian
Dark side Phil.
Italian wife. Italian wife. Italian chill. Italian can't give her pill. Why do you pretend to be Italian? I don't. I'm not full-blooded Italian. That'd be ridiculous for me to claim. I'm a quarter Italian.
Dude,
I'm quarter Polish.
the way he fucking misinterpreted that question, because I put in basically the context to it, right? Somebody asked him, "Why do you pretend to be Italian?" And he's like, "I don't pretend to be Italian. I'm not. I never said I'm a full-blooded Italian." And you go and look up "I'm Italian" and PIGGY. Dude is like, this is his one identity trait, that he is Italian. This is all that he's about, if you listen to those clips. Oh yeah, I'm Italian. My family is Italian. My mom is Italian. The food is Italian. Everything is Italian. We come from Italy, dude. And I know Italy, and I know where it is on the map, because it looks like a boot. Right. Now, let's go look up the DSP sauce making stream. Not stream, but video. There we go. And the audio on that one is terrible, so I don't know if it's gonna sound good. Probably not. Let's see the ingredients that it takes him half an hour of driving to find out and to buy them. Let's see what they are. Special tomatoes.
So this is it, the big day. Today
big day.
I'm going to attempt to make a pot of my famous family recipe, handed down through the generations, Italian homemade sauce.
It's handed down through generation like it's a magical sword or something.
Yeah.
Handed out through generations. My family during World War II, they were hiding from the Nazis and engraving the recipe on a stone slab that they buried, so the Nazis didn't find it. It's been carried down.
Stuff out here that belong out here. Trying to clean up the countertops a little bit.
Right.
So I have as much room as possible. I'm surrounded by ingredients. I really am. I'm surrounded by different things that we're going to be using to make the sauce, including a giant pot, various herbs and spices, different spoons and such.
The way he lays it all out there, it's so bizarre, dude.
And of course over here, all kinds of ingredients that we're going to use to whip up not only sauce, but some homemade meatballs as well. So, what I'm going to do...
Yeah, dude, he's rocking so hard, you would think they're on a ship or something.
Is I'm going
It's just like, I never seen somebody film stuff like this, and it's just rocking left, right, left, right.
prepare some of the ingredients that you need to get and
It's giving me motion sickness. It's like a Bourne movie.
toss into this pot in order to get a base. Which
This is so bad at vlogging, man.
the bottom of the pot.
So bad.
Certain ingredients.
Okay, yes, we will put the ingredients in the pot. What are they?
2004. That is over a decade old. It's a notebook that back when I was moving out of my parents' house for the very first time, I believe it was like 2004.
Hey, big ups Tricky for the membership.
That I wrote down the actual recipe on how to make the homemade Italian sauce. Now, obviously, I'm not going to show you the whole recipe.
He got the latex gloves going. That's really hip.
The goal of this video,
Very professional.
or these videos, because there is definitely going to be several videos, is not to show you step by step how to make it, because let's face it, cooking is not exactly an exact science. Even though there may be a recipe, everyone's going to turn a recipe into their own creation, dependent on their own personal tastes and how things turn out. In this particular case, I am going to add a couple elements to the sauce that is not in this recipe, and in fact I remember the last time that I made the recipe there were one or two things that I didn't like about it that I'm going to try to adjust on the fly today as I make the sauce. So the way that it works is that you basically prep everything. You're going to have to get chopped veggies, chopped salt pork, all different things, toss it into the pot, get the pot base going. Then as that's going, then you make the meat in this mixing bowl to make the meatballs.
He's so obnoxious, man. What are the ingredients, you fat fuck? What are the ingredients?
Adding all that day long. It is a
Tells you how cooking is
and it's
in life.
What I've actually done is all day.
What are the ingredients?
Does it taste too salty?
He doesn't even say.
Hour initially to set it up,
This is the video where he's supposed to tell you what the ingredients are. He didn't tell you.
and to get all the components ready.
It's the worst vlog, and he's wobbling the whole time.
And then we're actually going to go ahead and have it start simmering. So, first things first, I'm going to start reading, get started here with what it says to do, prepare the things for the bottom of the pot, and go from there. Alrighty then.
Alrighty then. He didn't tell you what the sauce is gonna consist of. He just told you, yes, I have to cook the stuff and put them in the pot. Fantastic. Oh, look at this face. Dude, he was droopy even back then. And the Italian hair, the grease. Oh, I love this. I love this style, Phil. This was from when? This was from 2014 or something? I don't know, I can't tell. A long time ago, like a million years ago. He's a different person now. He makes the sauce much better.
No Italian music. I can't really do the stereotyped Italian music. There you go. Further along the process of making the sauce, my sweetie has chopped and started with the onion. And we have put some yummy, delicious salt pork in this pot.
Bro, this bitch is a child.
Then we add the...
You can't convince me this is like a grown-ass woman. Even like over 18. The girl talks and walks and look like she's like 15.
And all the goodness.
God damn.
It's very...
The way he's chopping it, dude.
Eye-watering in here.
It's about to be, because now I'm cutting the onion, and you're going to really start...
Is this garlic that's chopped so massively?
Be affected.
God damn, this is some big garlic.
I used to be bad. Like, when I used to work in the food services industry, all through high school and even into college, and I used to do all this stuff with food, onions always got me no matter what. And my boss used to come to the back, and he used to say, Phil,
He's chopping them like he's an actual kid.
it's okay. You don't have to cry. Tell me about what's going on. I'd be like, you dick, I'm cutting onions. What do you think's going on? He'd say, Phil,
Just watch a YouTube video. Why are you so bad?
if you could, please don't bring your personal problems to work.
Yeah, I think this stream is choppy as fuck right now, but that's because I'm watching it on 1080, dude. 1080. Put that shit in like 360. Put it back. Scale it down.
You'd be a real dick about it. He was joking, and I had
It's
thick
probably still gonna be choppy. Well, this is what you get from Lenovo Yoga streaming.
skin, so I laughed too, but...
It's like DDP yoga. It doesn't work.
That's funny.
So yeah, we are
Crying like a bitch.
We are preparing many ingredients right now.
Oh god, it's hitting me. Oh
Many
god.
ingredients for the sauce. Actually, this...
The way he's chopping them, man. The way he's chopping them.
Ooh. Meatballs.
You could have just watched the YouTube video how to chop and dice onions in a very easy way, but he didn't.
handmade...
And apparently he has worked in the food industry. He's worked in the food industry and chopping them like he's a kid.
meatballs that we're gonna make.
I've never had a handmade meatball before.
Really?
I'm not Italian, remember?
Oh, yeah.
We don't do meatballs. We do potatoes.
Handmade
more.
potatoes?
Yes, handmade potatoes. And more
There we
potatoes.
go. So there's our minced
Got that garlic
onion.
and that onion.
Move that to the side. Let's see how our salt pork is doing.
Salt pork, let's get a vibe check.
It's just starting to warm up, so it hasn't done anything yet. I'm actually going to turn up the heat a little more just to get it initially warm.
This massive pan. This is an extremely gigantic pan. Are they making sauce for like 16 people?
Salt pork, of course,
This is a gigantic pan.
at the bottom of the pot.
Wow.
Then we can start adding other ingredients to start our base.
And later on in one of the other parts, he burns the meatballs, which is fantastic. And he tries to make them in this pan, and obviously doesn't work out.
Which means we're going to get our chopped meat and or ground beef, which is really what it is, but my mom calls it chopped meat.
Chopped meat. Chopped style meat.
Experience. Get them open, at least from my experience.
What is this? Tomato paste? What is this?
Tube meat.
Oh, tube meat.
They really got to come up with more appealing packaging.
Well,
It just looks...
Normally I would get the one that's in the styrofoam with the plastic, but they didn't have it.
Yeah, we were limited.
We were limited in our selections of the proper ratio of meat to fat. When you're actually making handmade meatballs, you actually need fatty meat. Because if you get one that's lean, you may think, oh, it's healthy. Yeah, but guess what? Your meatballs are going to turn rock hard. So how much meat does the recipe call for? Turn the page.
Turn the page, Leanna. Can you read? Does Leanna know how to read?
1.5 ounces. I'm sorry, 1.5 pounds, and this is, hold on, 16, so I'm only going to use half of this. Okay.
Yeah, what's up, World Profound?
Oh, my sweetie was all upset that he was worried he couldn't get his Cento tomatoes.
Oh, these are the special, the San Marzano tomatoes. That's what he has to travel 30 minutes for.
We had to
Special style tomatoes.
We usually go to Fred Meyer for our groceries, and we got most of the stuff except for the salt pork and I think one or two other things. But then we went to Safeway and they had everything.
Yo, what is happening?
We need.
Somebody drop a membership or something? Hold on. So I don't have my chat open, so I need to actually explore.
My sweetie Cento tomatoes.
You need it,
Or maybe people renewed theirs. I think it might be that time. Oh, it's big ups Hood Hustler for the 5 bomb, dude. Big ups. Dudes that got him, throw a prayer hands in the chat.
They're product.
Take a listen, honey.
Ooh.
But is this is this a burner for Hood Hustler, or this is a different Hood Hustler?
Got it, finally.
Because we already got one in chat who's a mod. He's been around for a long time. Is this a clone? Is this a troll?
The right temperature.
You know what it kind of looks like? Kind of looks like little ham cubes.
That's what we're going to want to do.
Only it's fat.
And anyways, enjoy your memberships, whoever got them.
The pop.
Ooh.
You want to move it around till the bottom is completely coated. It's not yet, as you can see. Probably another minute or two, and enough of that fat will start to reduce in there and start coating. So not yet. Close, but not yet.
Lots of yummy spices.
All right, so there's another half thing of meat I gotta take out here.
Ew.
Ew.
Meat.
What did people think in the comments about this? Let's see what the comments are. Did they enjoy them very much? Damn, Phil got that old man cutting speed swag. The trick to cut the onions is not to form an emotional bond. Oh, what a great comment. And there was one here. Who the hell uses gloves to cook at home? Phil, he's a professional chef. He used to work in the food industry, you guys. That's why.
Listen up our meat ball concoction here. Okay. It looks like, unfortunately,
big up Logan K for the membership,
much
dude.
of something because it looks a little dry. I think maybe
It's a little dry.
eggs would be a little bit bigger. So I may have to add in one additional egg here because they are looking a little dry. But this is onion, the ground beef, Italian breadcrumbs, Parmesan and grated Romano cheese, and
Deliciousness.
some eggs, maybe one or two other things. Yeah, you know what, honey? We need one more egg. We do. This is too dry.
Come on, Leanna, show up everything that's in the fridge so we can pause and talk about all the cool stuff he got.
Close this up. Now let's check back on that salt pork. Smells really good.
Looks way different too. Once it starts to actually simmer and coat the pan, you can see, or coat the pot. That's exactly what it's supposed to look like. We just gotta be careful we don't want it to burn. That's why we reduce the heat so much to low. Okay. So we got our extra egg. This should definitely make it a better mixture now.
Why don't you mix it with your hands though? You got gloves.
Never made homemade meatballs before. of my life.
Let's cook the meatballs. Let's get to the point where he actually makes them. Oh, now he decides to mix them with his hands.
For making, for example,
So big ups to wasting your time mixing it with a fork this whole time.
on the bread. So maybe even a little smaller than that.
That's a good size, though. Yeah, I don't like giant meatballs. I've been to a few places where they make them huge, and it's ugh. Don't like them that size.
Thanks, Leanna. Thanks.
Meatball person myself.
But if it wasn't for Leanna, then we would have to be hearing DSP's stories from like 1,000 years ago. That's super boring.
But that's blasphemy to you.
Ugh. That's blasphemy to him because he's Italian. If you couldn't tell by the hair.
Alright, so this is going to be pretty boring, just making the meatballs.
Then why are you recording it? I guess that's why they stopped. And for some reason, this all had to be individual videos.
Ooh.
So now we're adding our meatballs to the pot, because the pot has been prepped properly.
With the salt pork and garlic base.
Correct.
I don't know why he thought this... You would cook the meatballs effectively like this, but I guess because he's Italian. That's how Italians do it, you guys.
So what you do, you toss them in. We already increased the heat, because we want them to cook through.
Oh, they definitely do.
For about 20 to 25 minutes, so if you could set that timer to 20 minutes, honey.
Set that timer, honey. 20 minutes.
There we go. We gotta let these cook in here, okay? And what you do, now I'm actually done. I don't need this stuff anymore. Take this off and actually use my hands. Is we are going to rotate the meatballs with tongs, okay? When these are done, you don't want them to look pink at all. You want them to look
Because if they're
golden
pink,
brown.
they're raw.
That's right. But you also don't want them to look dark brown. That means you overcook them.
Alright.
I think that's what happened with my grandmother. 'cause they-
Remember this. Remember this. When you talk about overcooking them.
Plate. Like 2 or 3 of them. But mind the plate so it can catch it.
See that? They're cooking.
Ooh. Yes, they are.
They are cooking. Of course, you gotta be incredibly careful because you do not want to destroy the shape of your meatball when you're doing it.
Yeah, because if you put too much force,
He doesn't have enough space to like actually turn them around properly, so he has to
Right, it's not
do
hard.
this shit
yet.
like that.
It takes a while to solidify.
And also the gigantic pan obviously helps a lot. Having a massive pan, pot.
At least it'll naturally roll into a new position.
It will naturally roll.
yeah.
There we go.
Oh yeah, these look amazing.
Meatball.
Meatballs.
Some of the onions came out, but that's okay.
That's all right, because you're gonna. The thing is, it's fine as long as it's in the pot, because all that flavor from the
Yeah, the onion's still gonna
caramelizing the
go
bottom of
into
the
it.
pot, it'll go right into the meatball.
It'll still add its delicious flavor.
Right. This is like fucking Gordon Ramsay explaining it, except when Gordon Ramsay makes something, it actually works out.
Doesn't matter, because you're gonna put those into the sauce later. Once the sauce is ready to simmer, you put the meat in, so it actually cooks further and further in the sauce over hours of time. So you don't need to worry about
That's
it.
the hand motion for cooking.
He loves talking about stuff like he's a professional. He loves it. This is what he's probably like his favorite thing in life, feeling like he has authority on stuff.
Balls.
Yes.
I'm learning new things every day.
She's learning new things every day. Tomorrow she might even learn how to count to 10 and read.
Back to the meatball.
Yep. Actually gonna get taken out.
Good thing she got out of there, man.
And
Good thing she got out of there. Because she would only get less mature, living with the most mature man ever.
start making the sauce. See? Just split.
Yo!
Oh, wow.
This is like...
All falls apart, I guess.
Wait.
Taken out. And then we're gonna start making the sauce.
How did you... There are like 2 people in that kitchen. How did they let the meatballs burn? When you're looking at them constantly and turning them around. And you still managed to get it burned. There are 2 people there.
Just sucks that a few of them burnt, but that's the way the meatball falls apart, I guess. All right. This one fell apart right here. See, just split.
Yep. Oh well. It's okay, sweetie. I still love you.
I'm gonna turn it down to low heat right now because it needs to be low heat to start making the sauce. Phew.
And all of these spices are gonna go into the sauce.
Yep.
We got leaves.
Well, hopefully it'll tenderize it a little bit once it's in the sauce simmering for several hours. It'll come out like rocks.
Show them again. Show them again.
Big enough that I think that they'll have some tenderness to them.
Yeah, it might just not be the immediate outside.
Right.
Sometimes you eat one and it's like got that hard crust, but the inside soft. What are you doing?
Look, it won't stop.
Hit timer. There you go.
All right, I'm gonna start taking these out.
Okay, let's see them. They're gonna be black. Alright, this one is not that bad, I guess.
Yeah, you definitely want to get that excess.
Okay, this one is definitely black. Ooh. This one is... Oh my god, no. They're not even meatballs at this point, they're just meat chunks.
Real homemade meatballs.
Oh yeah, real homemade
Those
meatballs.
never do look pretty. No matter how you make them or where you get them from, they never do have a pretty appearance.
Not unless they're factory made.
Yeah.
Factory made
of course.
meatballs that look perfectly round. You're like, you know that no heat
Yeah,
touched that.
we gotta cope.
Put it like in a
We're coping now.
ball mold and squeeze it. Ugh.
Yeah, that's because they're homemade. That's why they're so black and burnt.
Gross.
Nobody can make them real.
Yeah, these are overcooked. I'm just hoping it's just the outside there that's overcooked.
I think
not
it's
the
just the
inside.
outside.
Why don't you cut it through and see if it's burnt inside?
See, like I said, it's not exact science. It said medium-high heat. And I had it on medium-high, exactly on medium-high the whole time. And it cooked faster than the recipe calls for.
That's the thing. Everyone's stove works differently too.
Some of these are perfect. Like that one right there, that's gorgeous.
Yeah, gorgeous. Please zoom in. Oh. Yeah, man. Yeah, these are burnt.
If that's gorgeous, I feel so confident in my looks.
And he should cut them through to see if they're actually raw inside, because maybe they just burnt on the outside.
This one fell apart. This is the dud.
Aww.
It fell apart in the pan. It didn't cook, or in the pot. Didn't cook properly. It is cooked through, as you can see.
So
But
it's
that's
not
fine.
raw.
We're still going to toss it in. You know, we're not going to waste it. We're still going to toss it in. It's going to give the sauce more flavor. All right, so this is on low. Now what we actually need to do is start making the sauce. All right? So what we're going to do is we're going to take these cans of peeled tomatoes and we're going to open them.
Cento brand.
These are Italian peeled tomatoes. If you can't get Italian, your sauce won't taste right.
It's not gonna taste right if you don't get Italian. What about if you burn the meatballs? Is it gonna taste right when you feel like you're eating a chunk of coal?
And that was the problem we had. At first, we could not find this Italian peeled tomatoes.
Right.
We were nervous.
They were nervous.
Yeah, you were nervous. I had no
It wasn't
idea.
going to taste right, but then we found them afterwards.
And it's-
Yeah, this is why he doesn't do the sauce nowadays, because he can't find the San Marzano special Italian style tomatoes.
It's not just a nationality pride thing.
No, they're actually different. Let's
Yeah.
see. Look, well.
Oh look, they're different.
They're longer. They're longer, and they have a different flavor than regular tomatoes.
Yeah, all tomatoes taste different. You wouldn't substitute a beef steak
Now we're taking our.
Oh, Leanna, shut up, man.
for a cherry tomato.
Sure.
You add the food mill to the pot.
There you go.
It's on low now, by the way. You take your tomatoes.
All right, let's see him use the food mill. I'm actually impressed he got a food mill.
Okay.
But of course he did. Back in the day, he would just buy everything. Just buy everything.
Leanna, honey, do we need this? Well, I don't know, but I'm gonna get it just in case.
That's why they have all these weird mats all over their kitchen that are just for no reason, but he wanted to buy them when he initially moved in because he wanted to buy stuff. Because that house is way too big and way too empty, so he wanted to fill it up with junk. And now there's just junk all over the place.
Down a little, but you
You
gotta.
keep the can, because you're going to use it. All right? And now you grind the tomatoes.
He got a room specifically for junk. That storage closet, the storage nook, like he like he calls it, is just junk inside.
What I'm doing, catches up, you go back a little bit, and you go forward more, forward more, forward more. Oh, it starts to catch, go back a little bit. That's how you hand strain tomatoes.
That's how you do it.
What I'm gonna need to do is grab a fork, because you actually need a fork while you're doing this, to push the chunks down in front of the actual
milling. Yeah, because you're rotating a blade in there. There you go. That's a great angle, sort of.
Didn't they just have a blender and you just throw that shit in a blender and it blends?
It's almost all completely pushed.
Yep, you're not gonna get all of it through. Some of the skins and stuff.
No, Italians use a food blend, whatever this was.
Skins are very
mill.
And I'll take the fork again.
Okay, isn't he doing this shit now with the fork? Is just pushing the tomatoes out of the mill right into the pot, so you get a bunch of like chunks.
Try to mush it up a little bit.
Ooh, they smell good.
It's not very efficient.
A lot of people who I know who are probably interested.
Oh, we got a Leanna goat laugh.
And how many cans are we using for this?
You're supposed to use 70 ounces. I have no idea what that is in the metric system. A lot of people who I know who are probably interested.
Yeah, over.
So they only have 28 ounce cans, so we're gonna do 2.5 cans of this.
So there you go. You have a can of Cento tomatoes, 2.5.
If you have the 28 ounce can. There are bigger cans, but not in this area.
You're pushing the thing off the burner a little. There you go. Haha.
Now, one thing you can do, and this is totally up to you. As you can see, we got all these big chunks of skin and everything. If you like chunkier sauce,
chunkier sauce.
if you can't get it to mill through, you could just put it right into the sauce afterwards, and that's your
rustic country taste to it.
right. If you're not looking just for liquidy, but you're looking for
it's a preference for some people. What's your preference?
I like a mix. Like I'll probably put some of this in there, but not all of it.
Yeah, I like when it's chunkier too. I mean, it depends on what pasta and other things I'd be having with. I think for like meatballs, I'd want chunkier, but sometimes you just want it smooth.
You see the juices and stuff that are coming out of the bottom as I do this? See that?
Ooh, yes.
That's the hand ground tomato.
This is a pretty heartwarming father and daughter segment, but not much else. This whole video is just him grinding stuff, and then that's it.
Italian and Polish?
Wait, what?
Equipment.
This is my mother's family recipe.
Because your mom is the Italian one. Italian and Polish?
That's my favorite thing about DSP's heritage, is he's not even like half Italian. He's a quarter Italian, because his mom is mixed as well. She's Italian Polish. So yeah, big ups DSP for the family fucking recipes.
It was almost 100% Italian.
What? Parents,
That's what we're gonna be doing.
Wait, who is 100% her parents?
From in Italy.
It was her father who was almost 100% Italian.
Okay. Her father is almost 100% Italian. What does that even mean? How are you almost 100% Italian? Because you got two parents, right? One of them is Italian, or both of them are Italian. How is he almost 100%?
I taught her this stuff.
Almost 100% Italian.
From in Italy.
It might be... It starts with an F.
Starts with an F.
Do you know if it's north or south?
Maybe Foggia? Foggia? I think that's what it was.
Foggia?
We'll have to ask your parents someday. Well, your mom. Your dad wouldn't know.
Alright, so that's it. I'm going to be doing this for 2
I don't know if you can hear this, but somebody's having like street races outside. God damn.
more cans. You don't really need to see that, but that's what we're going to be doing until the next step.
Alright, let's just skip to the next video. This was a very great video. of just milling tomatoes. Okay, what do we got? Adding the paste and stir.
All of our real Italian tomatoes, and now what we're doing is we're adding 3 cans of tomato paste
To thicken it up?
to thicken the sauce. Yes, that is
Because
correct.
just the tomatoes would make it too liquidy.
That's right.
See, I know something about sauce.
We're using Hunt's simply because that's all they have at our local stores.
But that is not the one you would normally use back home in Connecticut?
No, I believe it was called Contadina, was the one from...
Fancy Italian name, basically.
Right, but they don't have it out here. Oven's heating up. So then what you're supposed to do, supposedly, which I think this will be interesting to try to get this to work, you're supposed to take 2 of the cans, right?
Okay, put some water in them and then pour the water out. All right. Okay.
To try to get some of that paste that's stuck in there unstuck.
Makes sense that the hot water would loosen it. It's already starting to work.
You're supposed to do this for all 3 cans.
It's like he's making some like weirdo, like a witch concoction, like a love potion or something. The way he's explaining it.
This one.
This is,
And the spices?
I don't know, man. Every piece of content he makes is just so stupid and watered down and meandering.
It does smell good already.
Everything he's ever made is like this.
I'm curious.
It's just a massive waste of time. It's so uninformative as well, because this sauce doesn't look good. This looks nasty as fuck, and the pot is still massive. This pot is way too big.
Red color.
There's no point.
Big batch. Save it for a month. Have pastas and grinders and I don't know, other things that require that sauce. Different parms. I don't think I've had veal parm.
Alright, so now we're pretty much done with the tomato ingredients. Now we move on to the things that are going to make the sauce unique. Okay.
Oh, the unique ingredients. Let's see what they are.
Yes, but first we gotta try to dilute that, because remember that paste is all stuck at the bottom right now. Stir it up with the slotted spoon. And you see already, see how it got thicker when I started doing that? Because the paste is now diluting. See the paste there?
Yeah, this looks nasty as fuck.
Slotted spoon.
This looks nasty.
So you get a nice thickness to your pasta sauce.
There's some technique involved in making this right.
What?
Have that perfect spooning.
Are you serious?
Down, that's good.
There is a technique in stirring a sauce.
Using a plastic
Only Italians can stir sauce like this.
Destroy the edges of your pot. Everything today you buy, almost everything you buy is non-stick, unless you buy something that looks like it's stainless steel on the inside. Everything has that non-stick coating, and this will prevent it from scraping the non-stick coating off of your pot and or pan or whatever you use.
Thus preserving the overall shelf life of your pots and pans. Because after a while, if it gets too scratched up, it's pretty much useless.
Alright, we're almost done here. And we're going to add all the ingredients to finish it off and start it simmering. So,
Yeah, he had to explain what a non-stick pan is. It's a pan that doesn't stick unless it's a stick pan, and then it sticks. So now we get another suspiciously 10 minutes long video, almost exactly 10 minutes. I wonder why. Spoilers for ad revenue.
alright, so the final stirring.
Oh, and apparently I've disliked this one because it's probably trash. So this is episode 7 out of 9 for some reason, and the 2 next ones are them eating it. So let's see how it turns out.
All done, right? Look at that. See that? You get a little bit of chunkiness to it. It's thick.
This looks like slop. It's disgusting. When he takes out the spoon and there's just like chunks of tomatoes and nasty shit.
Pieces of the tomato and stuff in there.
That is nasty.
And keep in mind, as this simmers, it'll actually cook those little pieces of tomato that
Maybe it's just because it's him making it and I'm biased.
are in there.
And it'll reduce the liquidy aspect somewhat.
But it definitely doesn't look appetizing. Of course, it's not done yet. Now they're gonna put in all the spices.
25 shakes.
25 shakes. There must be a better way to measure this, but I guess there's not. We measure in shakes.
I like oregano.
Is this 25?
Garlic salt. I believe it's 2 shakes, yes.
Now we have both garlic and onion salt, so.
1, 2,
I'm actually gonna do
3, 4.
4 shakes.
Panda, what are these reactions, man?
And salt.
This is like the kind of reactions they have in like porno before they actually start clapping the cheeks.
Shakes or
And there's like the part where they have to act. That's how they act. Oh, step bro, what are you doing? Playing video games?
3
Uh-oh, my panties fell off. Can you get them for me? Ooh.
shakes.
Oh, only 3.
Red pepper, which was not in the original recipe, but I wanted to have a little bit of kick. The sauce. So I'm gonna
have a
get
kick.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shakes.
That seems like a good amount. Not
Keep
too
in mind,
much.
it's for the whole pot, and it's very big chips, so probably didn't come out. The recipe calls that you can add a bay leaf if you want. I'm gonna add 2 bay leaves, if not 3.
That's what I used when I made the brine for our barbecue chicken. I used 4.
Panda is getting completely ghosted. He's not responding to any of that shit. Probably the brine was trash. And he told her it was good.
2. Ooh.
Okay.
3.
3.
I'm gonna add 4.
Oh, 4. We're getting crazy on this one.
The whole pot.
We're getting risky. We're taking a massive risk. Hopefully it's gonna pay off.
Smell the spices.
Oh my god, yeah, I love oregano.
cooking.
Oregano and cilantro.
It's like low-key DSP knows that people watching this are not gonna like Liana, but he can't just outright say it because she's a baby. Or at least she was at the time.
This is one important change I made. Last time I made this, the recipe calls for a cup.
And like internally, he's like, damn, I wish she would just shut up and do what I tell her. But he just decides not to.
Authentic Polish Italian gout juice.
Yeah, it's the gout juice. It's the gout juice.
Sugar.
It looks like it too.
A cup of sugar in there. And I thought,
Big ups, Hood Hustler.
when I
The
tasted this
contribution.
stuff, why does it taste so sweet? My mom's sauce doesn't taste that sweet. So
The gout juice.
I'm not going to put that much.
Maybe half of it or 3/4.
I can get the fucking box open. There we go. That's just under 3/4 of a cup. That's what I'm going to put in there. And I got sugar all over the countertop.
Well, I'll take care of that. Now, what does the sugar do in the sauce?
Add sweetness, adds contrast. If you don't, it's all going to be...
Dude!
You won't have any...
Dude, holy shit. I need to look this up. How much sugar you need to add to fucking sauce? How much sugar you add to, let's say, pasta sauce? Because I'm curious, because this looked like so much fucking sugar. Look at this. Sugar in spaghetti. How much is your favorite? For the most part, the recipes you'll see online suggesting adding 2 teaspoons of, or a couple of teaspoons of sugar. This dude added the massive amount. Dude, look at this, all this sugar.
And I got sugar.
And then we get the great quote, what does the sugar do in the sauce? So let's see a different source. Let's see this one. You could add a pinch of sugar to keep tasting and adding until the flavors really start to brighten and become well-rounded. I start small with 1/4 teaspoon. I get it. This is a bigger amount than your normal pasta sauce you're going to make for like 1 or 2 people. But this is just like...
all over the countertop.
This is mad.
Sugar do.
Look at all of this.
Adds sweetness, adds a contrast. If you don't, it's all going to be tartness, and you won't have any
It's going
kind
to
of
be
sweetness
acidity
to the
from
sauce.
tomatoes.
Come on, man.
And then spice.
Tart and it's acid and nothing else. All right. So now we got to stir all that in, and then
What does the sugar do in the sauce?
And then the meat. So let me get the slotted spoon again.
Yeah, stir that shit in. Maybe that's why I disliked the video, because he added the fucking sugar. 1/4 cup of sugar.
Smell it now.
I love it,
Dude.
sweetie.
Maybe they meant like a different kind of cup. The one that you drink from.
When I was growing up, we never had oregano in the house. Never.
No oregano.
Why not?
Nope. It's not a spice we traditionally used. Keep in mind, every European country used different spices for most of their meals. Oregano is more common in Italians than, you know, my family.
What is your family? Where are they from? Asia? Why was she called Panda Lee Gaming though? Because everything makes me leads me to believe that she's Asian. But when he had the reveal video, he said she's not Asian.
A lot of dill. I know that.
Next, onion and garlic, both chopped up.
Those massive chunks of onion. And then they use that sauce for like a meatball sub. And then you got massive chunks of onions. Because the dude can't dice an onion properly.
And sausage. That's gonna go in here too.
I love sausage. I have had many varieties of both Italian and non-Italian.
Thank you for the commentary, Pandali. Now back to you, Phil. But I don't even know whose commentary I prefer. DSP's stale pigsplanation of everything that's happening, or Pandali's childish random commentary.
I'm pissed that these burnt. I really am.
He's pissed.
They shouldn't have burnt. It's
They have, you can see in the meatball, they have massive chunks of onions in them. This is just grotesque, man.
you know, new pot, different stove, different everything.
Yeah, everything, all the excuses. Look at this now. It can be his fault or his girlfriend's fault that they burned them. It's a new pot, which somehow makes sense. It's a different stove, which somehow makes sense.
That these burnt. I really am.
Oh, that's okay.
Pissed that these
Shouldn't have
burn.
burnt. It's, you know, new
All the
pot,
excuses.
different stove,
Different stove,
everything.
different everything.
Temperature to turn it.
Didn't know.
Well, we know now for next time.
And she's trying to be positive, but he's Mr. Toxic. He's Mr. Angry.
The outside's not so good. The inside could still be good.
I think we're gonna skip the sausage. We could fry the sausage off and make like sausage and peppers or something.
I like sausage and peppers.
All right, so now we gotta lower the heat. Now that everything's in, okay, lower it to about there, just to simmer all day.
Yeah, the stove dropped the inputs. The stove has rollback. The previous stove didn't have rollback. It was much better.
Come back and stir it every half hour or so.
Look at all those ingredients in there.
It does look a little chunky so far, but not too chunky.
It's not too
The thing
chunky.
that's chunky is the onions because I'm not good at chopping onions. I can't cut them small. You know, I'm not a professional chef.
Oh yeah, you need to be a professional chef to learn the basics of dicing an onion. I really wanted to do a cooking with the meerkat segment, show you how to make noodles, how I make them, but I still haven't got around to doing it.
So
I can cut onions.
the good thing is, what we're seeing now is going to cook over the course of 4.
Leanna dodged a humongous, gouty bullet when she left. I think she was just an immature young person. Good thing she got smart and got out of there.
Definitely, yeah, I don't think she was like a really bad person. Of course, she was toxic on his streams, and she used to irritate him a lot. And she was kind of a bitch to Rambo. There's this one clip of her talking about how DSP is Rambo's boss, and he gets paid more than Rambo does, and all that stuff. I think that was toxic as fuck, but outside of that stuff, I just think she was very immature, and she was starstruck by this gouty fat fuck who gave her a chance to be his girlfriend. And she was living this fantasy in a gated community, and she was like, it was the honeymoon period, and then it wore off, and then she realized he doesn't give a fuck about anybody but himself. And then she left, which is really cool.
4.5 hours,
And hopefully she's gonna do her own thing and just not involved with this shit again.
will not see those chunks. They're all going to caramelize. They're going to be the clear kind of onion, and they're going to be reddish, and you're not going to really taste them that much.
But the onion does add a bit of flavor.
Oh, yeah.
Where the onion salt cannot.
But Cat is just a dent, man. Cat is just a dent. And DSP is fine with that because he knows he's never gonna do better than that. He's never gonna do better than that. Especially him and all his excuses and all his bitching. He can't do better than Cat. So put a ring on it, let her play Skyrim, and just I don't know, just interact and
Onion
chill.
salt is not a substitute
Buy her a cat to keep her company. It's all good.
for onion.
All right. So now, the lid. Right? And you set the timer.
What do we got? 30?
Do this.
Time up.
We'll set it for 22 minutes for now. And what you do is you wait about every 20 to 25 minutes. You come in here, you stir it with a wooden spoon, or you could use that slotted spoon too, but we'll use wooden spoon.
Does the wooden spoon add anything other than authentic Italian experience?
So, and that's it. You just let it simmer all day, right? Right now it's 12:30. Well, that's actually wrong. It was 20.
Yeah, that wasn't fast by like 10-15 minutes.
So, you know, it's gonna cook for about 4 to 4.5 hours. So you figure.
Yeah, she really did like trolling him, and she was trolling him in videos and streams. She really likes some trolling and like having a back and forth. But he's such a just an old ass, crusty old guy who doesn't want to take any of that. He doesn't want to have any banter because of course he's DSP. Couldn't handle any of it. Plus she was ruining his content.
Or 5-ish.
And nowadays he's accepting it. Nowadays he's addressing it and talking about, oh yeah, people thought that Panda Lee was abrasive and she was taking over my content and she was making it different from what it was supposed to be.
The latest, it'll be ready to go. And at that point you can use it for anything. Like I said, pasta, meat dishes. You can make we were gonna do meatball subs, but I don't know now if we're going to now because those meatballs look really overcooked.
Yeah, they're gonna do them.
Taste. We'll have to see once it's simmered. Will they?
Well, we got that sausage and we got that pasta just in case as a backup. We got 2 options.
So there you have it. That is the basic premise of how to do it.
There you have it.
And because you know what I set up today to do for work, I'm going to be coming back down here, you know, every half an hour or so.
And I'll be coming down too, I'm sure, to stir when you're mid-fight.
Whatever.
Wait, did he said he was gonna set up for work? How much prestige this man puts in his job to just pretend he actually has a job. It's amazing. It's astounding.
And,
I really like it.
Really, that's it.
He's literally LARPing as if he has a job.
Complicated. It's a lot of steps.
But this is not an exact recipe. Every recipe's
Oh, she cut him off. She cut him off. He was starting to give his outro, and she was like, "Well, this is not an exact recipe."
You know, and
get a load of this.
Really, that's it. It's complicated. It's a lot of steps.
But this is not an exact recipe. Every recipe's different.
Yeah, anyone can make it. There's tons of
anyone can make it. Well, obviously you couldn't make it right because you fucked it up. So probably not anyone.
It tasted too overwhelmingly sweet.
It's a trial and error recipe, pretty much.
Right.
Yeah.
So, you know, today we did it. We'll see how it is.
Today it was an error. But let's see the taste test. Let's see if it's gonna pass the vibe check. The first meal, meatball subs. And that shit, even from the thumbnail, it looks awful. But it's only a minute-long video, so yeah. You get to see a young Panda Lee, barely legal.
Ladies and gentlemen, we finally have a result. Something that I have cooked, ladies and gentlemen, that is right. And the result of my long day laboring over a pot of sauce and meat, we have homemade meatball subs, which Leanna is about to dig into. Now, the meatballs themselves, unfortunately, got a little bit singed on the outside, but when we actually put them in here, the meat looked perfectly cooked. So
it was perfect.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. My homemade meatball subs. What do you think?
It is the most sexual meatball sub I've ever had.
Really?
The most sexual meatball sub.
Mostly because I've never had one before. But
oh, because it's the first one.
Wow.
Hello, not Italian.
I guess
hello, not Italian. That means you're not allowed to eat meatball subs. You need to get a permission from an actual Italian. And he needs to be at least 25% Italian for it to be valid.
So yeah, well, I did, you know, you take the meatballs out, you put it right onto the sub, and they're already covered in the sauce from simmering all day. Then you put a little bit more sauce, you sprinkle mozzarella cheese, and I actually give it a sprinkling of Italian seasonings on top, as you can see. 2 homemade meatball subs for dinner. Leanna's having one. If she's hungry enough, she'll have a second. We'll have to see. So is it good? You like it? Great, and that is the fruit of 4.5 hours of hard labor, but it's worth it.
Oh yeah, it's totally worth it. Amazing. What is the last video for? Them freezing the sauce? Does this have to be a video? Does it have to exist? Leftovers. Tons of extra meals.
So what I want to show you is the final product and just how much sauce you can make with that one pot that we did today. So right here in the fridge, we've got 2 of these containers. Let me show you. Pull it out here. 2 of these containers, it's full of sauce. It's heavy. This is enough for 1 meal.
Well, now we get to see what's in the fridge, but there's a bunch of stuff, I guess. Some energy drinks. What is this, a Red Bull?
What we did is we separated them up. Some of them have meatballs in them, and some of them don't. Okay, some of them are just sauce.
Hey, big ups Hood Hustler for the membership, dude.
So, for example, later this week we're gonna have pasta. Whatever pasta we have, I like the meatballs, so I'll have it with it. Leanna might not want the meatballs, so she just gets the plain sauce. You can keep 2 of these in the fridge, and they last about a week. But what we also did, of course, is we are freezing. Where is it? We're freezing 4 more, and yes, they're all full to the top.
That's great, dude. That's awesome.
2 more have meatballs in it.
That's
2
amazing.
more don't.
Yeah, nice half and half.
So
nowadays they don't bother to do that because it takes too much effort. They just spend money on food instead because they realize that, dude, I can just buy everything. And then they did it. They did it, you guys. And then we got Cooking Italian with Joe. I wonder if this guy is a real Italian. The world's best homemade meatballs. Pretty sure he's more Italian than DSP. Let's take a look. Is he more Italian? Oh, it's actually edited as well.
Hey everybody, welcome to my kitchen, Cooking Italian with Joe. Today's a big day.
Oh, he's definitely Italian. He's loud and he has that accent. So he's definitely Italian. So I'm not even going to question him. And his meatballs are probably bomb. Hey, they actually look round and not burnt.
Here we go. Look at that. Cooked perfectly through. You see how moist it is? It's not uncooked, right?
He passed the vibe check. He passed the Italian check. He's verified on Twitter for being Italian. When you click on his verification, it says, this guy is Italian. Let's go and watch... what else has DSP done that is sort of interesting from back in the day? Let's do some of those Loot Crate garbage, but some of the ones that I haven't played on stream before. Loot Crate, and see how much he loves those. He really liked them. I think I've watched most of them, but there's a lot of them, so I probably missed some. All right, oh yeah, this one I've seen with the light. Let's see. Oh, this is Doctor Strange. The Doctor Strange costume. I think Leanna was there for this one as well.
What's going on, everyone? DSP here.
What's going on, everyone?
To a new edition of
Why isn't the Machinima logo in the beginning? What happened?
a Loot Crate unboxing. That is unprecedented because, ladies and gents, the Loot Crate box that I'm unboxing today is Marvel Gear and Goods. This is a brand new Loot Crate subscription that is available now on Loot.
Cooking with the King has endless memes.
I might try the Cooking with the King. That is a good suggestion. I might try some of the ones that I haven't seen before. So maybe after this one. This one's probably gonna be trash. So the way he unboxes these is always the same.
It's a
in the final like 5 minutes is him reading through a manual, and it's always trash. I don't know if he did it in this one, but oh yeah, he reads through the book. Oh, is this the book? Oh, I guess this one didn't have a book that came with it that explains what you got.
One, I believe. So
yeah, big ups K-On Doomer for this one.
And I'm going to show you what kind of stuff you can actually get in the Marvel Gear and Goods crate right here in this video. First of all, just to take a look, it is one of the more unique looking loot crates. Take a look. It is covered in Marvel Comics artwork. And
bro, these loot crates, it was all just dollar store trash that they couldn't sell. So they put it in a box and they advertised it as this special randomized surprise box that you get. You never know what you're gonna get, man. It's literally like a loot box. And people spend money on this instead of just going on eBay or in some dollar store and buying whatever they like from that. Some weird stuff. And I guess it's the idea that you might be surprised by what you get, but surprise can also be negative, as in you can get a bunch of junk that nobody's gonna care about. And DSP was shilling it, of course, because he did have an affiliate link. Yep, lootcrate.com/darksidephil and use discount code SAVEME10DSP to save 10%. Baller alert.
It could be the Marvel Gear and Goods. It could be LootGaming, which I've unboxed.
Dude, it could be a lot of things.
Oh my goodness.
Let's see. Oh, it's the robe.
And it's obviously...
Why didn't he dress up as this for Halloween? He could have been this. Because his goatee is on point, somehow. He's like a multiverse Doctor Strange.
Hold on.
Where instead of having the powers to manipulate reality, he has the powers to manipulate your bank account and your wallet.
I did not do my hair or anything.
And you.
Before this, but so you can see me, okay? And I'll step back. Okay, look at this. It's long. It goes all the way down to my knees.
Look at it. It's an actual costume.
All the way down to my friggin' knees. And here you go. Here's your...
Wow, it's so cool, dude.
Your belt to tie it off. The Doctor Strange robe. Now, I've not yet seen Doctor Strange. I'm actually planning on seeing it later this week. But he is a neat Marvel Comics character. And, you know, the movie just released this past weekend in the United States. I know worldwide it's been out for a little bit longer. But this is pretty cool. Full-size robe. This is a real robe. Full on, you know, it's actually decent heftiness to the cloth. It's not like it's weak or anything. So for cosplayers, right, you're probably going to love this. Or for someone who just want to wear this around the house and be silly with this big popped collar, Doctor Strange collar. You can also wear it like this, by the way. You don't have to have the collar popped. You can, you know, push it back and just wear it like this around the house normally if you don't want to have the collar popped. But, you know, if you want to be Doctor Strange, you've got to have the giant popped collar that serves absolutely no purpose, right? So there you have it, the Doctor Strange robe.
It serves no purpose. This is literally the cape that has a mind of his own. What? Serves no purpose? Huh? And he also said he hasn't watched the movies, so he wouldn't know.
I'll rotate you so you can see.
But, never mind. I just like nitpicking DSP shit.
Okay, wow. All right, let's get back to the rest of the box.
Let's go see what else he got.
Wash with warm and soapy water before use, not for your microwave.
Wait, what? Scarlet Witch?
A Scarlet Witch toothpick holder.
Bro, this is the kind of shit you used to get. Toothpick holders with the Scarlet Witch. We know he threw this shit out, but he can't say it's trash because he got an affiliate link.
Wash with warm and
This is how genuine, legit, objective reviews this guy used to give.
soapy water before use.
Oh, yeah, this looks interesting. A toothpick holder. Oh, let's see how amazing it is.
Holders, excuse me. Now wait a minute. Toothpick holder?
Oh, and a shot glass.
This is a shot glass. Maybe they wanted to say shot glass because they were afraid, oh, you know, it's Marvel Comics, you're appealing to kids or whatever with alcohol. This is undoubtedly a shot.
Toothpick holder. This is great, man. He fell for the marketing again.
Really cool one, too. Look, Scarlet Witch artwork on it.
Yeah, it's so cool, man. I would love to have this as a part of a subscription box that costs over $20 per month.
These are obviously not.
I would love it.
They are shot glasses.
Yeah, but they could be toothpick holders.
Two Scarlet Witch.
They could be holders for a lot of stuff, dude. Come on.
Glasses. What else do we have? What is this? I have no idea. Let's take a look. Nothing. There's no indication of what
it's a surprise. It's a mystery box.
LootCrate presents Marvel Gear and Goods.
Piggler Strange was my favorite authentic
Piggler Strange.
A beggar.
Yeah, he's from the multiverse. They should get him in like a alternative style Marvel movie series. The Piggler Strange. Big ups, dude.
But I still don't know what it is. What is it? It's heavy.
What is this? It's a...
Whoa.
What?
I believe it's a coaster set.
Oh, it's a coaster set.
It's a Doctor Strange metallic coaster set.
All right, this isn't terrible. This isn't terrible, but I would only consider buying it if I just saw it by itself in like a Chinese shop or a bookstore, and it was like $2.
Look at that. Wow, that is... Oh, shit, there's more... Wow, wait a minute. That's Doctor Strange, right?
Right.
Isn't that Baron Mordo? That's Baron friggin' Mordo.
Whoa.
What the...
Mordo.
Look at that. Nice.
Wow.
Put those down here.
How much did you pay for this?
Baron Mordo
was it worth it?
The freaking movie. No, I'm actually...
Isn't he black in the movie?
For the movies, they redesigned the characters.
Isn't it Chiwetel Ejiofor that plays him? He's a really cool guy.
There you go.
Anyways.
So now when you're drinking with your Scarlet Witch shot glasses, you can put those shot glasses down.
Whoa.
Doctor Strange coasters so that you don't dribble all over your countertop. There you go. Look at that. That's pretty cool. All right, what do we got here? We have a Dormammu. That's Dormammu. I recognize him from Marvel vs. Capcom 3, and also, of course, because I was a reader of Marvel Comics.
Of course, he was an avid reader.
One of the villains from the Doctor Strange.
They taught him how to read.
Universe. A Dormammu pin.
And like I said, in one of the previous streams, I think I even said it on that being said, what I think is going to be an amazing goal is for him to put pins like this on his vest. Because he definitely has a lot of them, unless he's thrown them out, but they're also cheaper to buy. So every 20 bucks after the vest is on, he puts one of them on.
Oh my god, you get to pick a pin. Fucking Team KOGamer. Which pin do you want? And then they say, oh, I want the Dormammu pin. And then he puts on the Dormammu pin. Oh, look, tonight we put on 4 pins. Are we going to be at our biggest target as 5 pins that we put last week?
Dude, that would be the biggest fucking scam.
Here, doing a flying split.
What is this?
Kind of an art print.
It's an art print.
What it is on the
It's some shit they couldn't sell. So they're selling it to you because you didn't even know that they were selling it to you. That's why you bought it. The only way they could sell these if they tricked you to buy them. Okay, so this is the segment where he reads through the things that he got, and then he continues to meander for like 5 more minutes because ad revenue. Because somebody maybe is gonna stick around long enough to see the mid-rolls.
Right now, every Marvel movie that's released, think about in the past few years, Captain America Civil War, all the Iron Man movies, the Avengers movies, Guardians of the Galaxy is getting a sequel next year, okay? We got the new Avengers movie coming up shortly.
Oh, back when Marvel was somewhat exciting, and now it's just, I don't even know what it is. It's just mid. And twerking segments, I guess. They do that now. Okay, let's do some cooking with the king. I don't know. Cooking. And then maybe I'll get back to this style stuff. And maybe we can alternate. Let's see. The chicken sandwich. But some stuff that I haven't seen before. Let's see, I think, what is this? Lactose-free basic omelet. Let's see the omelet. I'm very curious how DSP is going to make an omelet. Because the omelet is like the easiest shit you can do.
Welcome to another edition of
What happened?
Poorly Cooking with the King. Today we are going to do a slight variation on a recipe that I've actually already done, but it actually completely changes the dish. We did scrambled eggs, and
whoa!
Ooh, you tell I'm hungry. My stomach's like, give me food.
No, that wasn't your stomach. I guess that was the joke, but no.
We did scrambled eggs already,
No.
and if you remember, the easy way to make that dish was just to take a couple eggs and beat them, put them in a dish or a frying pan, fry them over heat, and move them around until they're scrambled, and then your dish is done. What we're going to do today is we're going to do a variation on that and attempt to make an omelet. Now, it's going to be a very simple omelet with a little bit of meat, ham and sausage and cheese. Now, I do want to let you know, unlike those cooking shows that lie, I want to let you know that I did do a little bit of pre-preparation for today's cooking.
And now he shit on some cooking shows that lie.
You can see I've already prepared.
Dude.
Some ham.
These fucking shills that cut their products beforehand, so the show isn't annoying when you have to cut stuff on the go. How dare they, the fucking shills? Listen to my show that has ambient noise in the background constantly.
Slices from, basic lunch meat, anything that you can buy at a supermarket.
Yo, he was eating lunch meat back in the day, and nowadays it's an embarrassment for him to even think about eating lunch meat. He's a baller nowadays. What am I gonna eat, a lunch meat sandwich? And also there was this, I'm even gonna go on PigPigGo for this one. pigpiggo.net. And I think it was, the quote was, I need to eat food tomorrow. Okay, so I need to eat food tomorrow. I don't know if it's gonna come up, because he kind of said it really fast. I need to eat tomorrow? Ah, god damn it. I need to eat metamuchi? What? Ah, where was this? It's gonna be kind of hard to find, but this was one of those guilt tripping segments when he was like, oh, I'm gonna be fucking starving. I need to eat tomorrow. Well, I guess I can't find it. Fuck it.
And some sausage links I've already cooked.
Yeah, maybe eat food tomorrow is gonna work out. because I need to be kind of specific, because you never know how the captions are gonna capture it. Need to eat. To eat food. Let's see. I don't know, because I put that clip in a short of mine. Okay, let's just do a lunch meat sandwich, right? Because this was a great segment too. I think it was this one.
But eat a lunch meat sandwich.
Oh yeah, this was the mega entitlement. You guys, I need to go to the restaurant. What am I gonna eat, a fucking lunch meat sandwich like you broke bitches?
You can support the streams today. Please do. In particular, I absolutely need help with tips today. If you tip me today and I hit the goals today, I'm in a good position for tomorrow. If I stream today and I hit none of the goals, I'm fucked. And essentially, I'll be going grocery shopping. I guess we're gonna eat a lunch meat sandwich, you know, for our day off. Can't even have a meal out or nothing because, you know, this is the situation I'm in, and it fucking sucks.
It fucking sucks. And this is what clips he's defined by. Oh, and you see by the end of this pre-stream, he got the hat, he got the glasses. 135. So this shit used to work a lot. And I guess it still works. And big ups to MLH, who is totally not a sock account for a prominent pay-pig. Wow. Very, very nice. Let's see the other entries for lunch meat. Let's see. Would go eat a lunch meat sandwich. Is this another one of those?
Which, you know, I would go lunch meat 15 minutes long, but there will be 2 major breaks where I'm going to basically be eating. So one of those breaks more than likely will be in late afternoon. I'd probably say between, you know, 3, 4, or 5 p.m. Pacific time. And then the other break will be near the end of the stream, probably like 7, 8 p.m. Pacific time. Where I'm going to probably just go downstairs, make a sandwich. You know, I would go lunch meat sandwich. Actually, I have some leftover tuna casserole that Kat made yesterday.
Oh, he didn't mind eating a lunch meat sandwich in 2019. But 2022, that shit is toxic. I'm too good for that. I'm too good for a lunch meat sandwich.
Them, and I've chopped them up. So those are good to go to add to my omelet. And I have some shredded cheddar right here, which we're going to add to the omelet as well as it cooks.
I don't think he's going to fuck up an omelet, because that is just like the easiest thing to make. It's even easier than scrambled eggs, because you don't have to even scramble them. You just put a bunch of eggs in a pan, pre-scrambled, and you just like leave them there. Then you flip it.
So what we're going to do is we're going to make the omelet and just add those ingredients. It's very basic, but it should turn out all right. And I just want to let you know, obviously this will add maybe up to 5 minutes of extra time to this recipe, even though these people on TV, they love to say, oh, it's a 10-minute meal, but then they forget to mention there was 45 minutes of prep involved. So.
They lie, just because DSP is too terrible at prepping his stuff. He's just too inept, so everyone else is lying. Because, of course, it can be his skill set that is wrong. It has to be everybody else.
All right, so what we're going to
Classic. And we all know this is not how he is nowadays. Did I unplug something? I don't think I did. Okay, I think it's all good. That's not how he is nowadays, because he's changed a lot. Nowadays, the weatherman lies about the weather. Developers lie about ping, and they lie about how long the games are. So, yes. This is, new Phil is much different, if you haven't noticed.
We're going to do the same exact thing that we did to make scrambled eggs, which is basically going to go ahead and crack some eggs into a bowl. Roll up my sleeves here. We'll probably do a 3-egg omelet. I am pretty hungry. 1. Sure. Were you able to see when I hit that egg? I think you were. It's just one solid stroke. A lot of people were asking me, how do you crack an egg, you know, easily? It's one solid stroke. Don't go for like little hits or anything like that. The longer it takes you to crack the egg, the messier it's going to be. Let me put it that way. Just crack it and get it done. All set. Go ahead and we'll wipe that little bit of egg mess up before I forget, because for me, I will tend to forget and it'll sit there until I see it again later today. Which
Oops, I was muted. Those people that lie about their videos actually cut the videos and they get to the point. This dude that is honest, he needs to meander for 5 minutes before he even starts scrambling eggs.
a little bit.
But it's okay, this used to make mad money back in the day. So that's okay. He could have meandered for like 45 minutes more.
I'm gonna let it fry for a little while, and unlike what we did with the scrambled eggs, if you remember, we waited for it to start to solidify, and then we started moving it around to scramble it. In this case, we're gonna let it sit there, and we're gonna let it solidify as if it were one giant egg pancake, and you'll see what I mean. So let's see. Starting to heat up. We're gonna go ahead and add the egg. We're just going to let it sit there and cook so that I don't destroy the Teflon in my pan. In a Teflon coated pan, you're destroying your pan, you're getting Teflon in the food. And I was like, oh boy, here we go. You know, I've only been cooking for, you know, my life and never had a problem, but it was the internet. You make one video.
I mean, of course, yeah, with cooking stuff, it's always like this, because it's not... Like, of course, everybody's gonna come in the comments and tell you how it's actually supposed to be done and how you're actually poisoning yourself. But with DSP is a little bit different because he actually does a lot of things super wrong.
Guessing you and telling you they know better, so rather than fight with thousands of people who think that they're smart, you got a plastic spatula. I actually had a plastic spatula anyway. It's not like I ran out and bought one. But anyway, just like with the scrambled eggs, this is gonna go ahead and cook. I kind of wish I preheated the pan now, because now you're staring at an egg starting to cook in a pan, which is annoying. I'll up the heat just a little bit. Then we're going to add our ingredients to the omelet. And I have way too many, by the way. I'm not going to add all what you saw on that plate. That was, might as well prepare them all for this dish. And for sure. I just tried it this week.
Dude, if only you could just edit this shit out. Where it's just a shot of a pan.
There, it'll start to move.
All right. It's not done.
Like it is on that side.
No, it's not done.
Move. That's how you know that you're getting there. So I'm gonna actually move that a little bit closer to the heat. Try to get that side to cook better. Exactly what we want. One solidified egg pancake. All right. So now that it's starting to solidify, we're gonna add our ingredients to it. So we'll add some pieces of ham. You can add as much as you want. You don't have to, you know, don't overdo it, obviously. Let's add some sausage. Whoops! That guy went crazy.
Oh, and a vintage snort. Very nice snorts.
Not due to my scrambled eggs, which wasn't used. The pepperiest omelet in human history. God damn it.
Oh, he put a bunch of fucking pepper on it. It's toxic. Let's see him put the pepper on it, because I skipped through it.
Go ahead, add just a little bit.
Is it gonna be bad?
Pinch of salt.
Pinch of salt.
Tiny bit of pepper. Whoa! That was not a tiny bit of pepper. God damn it, I used the wrong side of my shaker.
It's not that bad.
Oh, man.
It's not that bad.
Shit. That sucked. And I'm gonna have to eat this too. I'm not gonna throw this out. I wanna eat this. Damn it. Oh man, so much pepper. Fuck.
Wow.
I almost feel like I should grab a paper towel and try to
No, don't do that.
God damn it, that sucks.
Eat it like that. Come on, I would eat it. Especially since taking into account that he's drunk in the middle of the night, I would have totally ate that shit if I was drunk in the middle of the night. And I put some extra pepper. Fuck it.
So what we're gonna do, get close enough to it. We're basically just gonna flip.
Oh no.
Whatever you think is the most solid.
Oh no. This is just scrambled eggs at this point. It's ruined. Because he put too much shit on top as well. How are you gonna flip this? No, it's fucked. And it's burned in the bottom. Or at least, it's almost burned. Kind of looks like.
And you can flip it over in halves. I've seen people flip over on halves. Or I've seen people just go ahead and this is falling apart. God damn it.
Just turn it into scrambled eggs at this point. It's done. It's not an omelet anymore. It fell apart. It's finished.
Yeah, fork. To aid me.
Fork?
Slide this guy over.
No. What a disaster.
So,
dude, no.
Looking omelet, but it's an omelet.
Why was I thinking that he couldn't mess it up? Of course he's gonna mess it up. And of course he's gonna mess it up like this. It's not an omelet anymore, DSP.
One more time.
It's just scrambled eggs with extra steps. That's all that it is. It's not an omelet at all.
That's pretty much it. Like I said, it's pretty much like making an egg burrito.
Oh yeah, an egg burrito.
It's pretty much done. You can cook it more if you want. You can cook it less if you want.
If you want.
I don't have a clean plate.
Okay, this is messed up.
If I didn't shove it in your face, your basic omelet. It's gonna have ham, sausage, and melted cheddar.
Okay, the segment where I say, would I eat this? If I was drunk enough, I would totally eat this. Drunk enough and starving enough.
Obviously, if you get it in a diner, I've seen this many different ways. Sometimes people just flip it over once, and it looks like a half moon almost. Some people make this burrito. In fact, when I went to IHOP when I was in Tennessee for my trip to Tennessee this year, they always made it in a burrito like this to make more room on your plate for other stuff. So
he's burping, he's hiccuping, he's completely messed up, dude. Good thing this made a lot of money, but it also made him super embarrassed because it's obviously embarrassing. Now let's watch a game review from KOGaming. Let's see what's happened with that channel. KOGaming. Oh, and I misspelled it, but it does matter. Oh no, it actually does matter. So now we're getting some random shit. KOGaming, welcome to all those new to KOGaming. Oh, and this is this fucking bastard. This was right after he made the Homefront review. He made a video for those people that have came to the channel from the Homefront review. What a drunk bastard.
What's going on, everyone? Phil here.
Phil here.
You might have noticed recently things look a little different around this channel. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. In the past 2 weeks, my channel has kind of gone viral on YouTube. What I mean by that is one video...
He got 20,000 subs. Dude, my channel is viral.
In particular, my Homefront, the Revolution...
He got a video that made 1 million views and thought it was him going to Hollywood. He thought he was like the next PewDiePie or some shit. After he clickbaited everybody alive into that video.
Review,
dude,
much has become almost the top viewed video on YouTube for the game. People who wanted to know, gee, is this game good or not, checking out reviews in YouTube search, have watched
trash
a lot of this video.
Trash.
Really giving it over 500,000 views in just about a week and a half. First off, if you're one of those people, I'd like to say thank you. Thank you for giving a look at a video from a little known YouTube channel that you probably didn't know anything about. It's well appreciated that I got a little bit of viral popularity that has given this channel a boost. So I read the comments of the Homefront video, and there was a lot of confusion regarding, you know, who is Phil? He says that he's uploaded 1,000 videos to YouTube, but this channel's only been around since 2016, and it only had 6,000 subscribers when he had uploaded that video.
Yeah, because he does the DSP thing where he wanted to separate that channel from DSP, because, you know, DSP is toxic. So he made KOGaming, and then immediately as the video starts, he flexes about how many views he's made. So people already think about, okay, this dude has 20,000 subs. He's made, what, 50, 60,000 videos? So he's either terrible at this, or he has a different channel somewhere. And then those people looked him up, and hello, it's DSP Gaming. The guy. It's the guy.
So what gives? Well, the bottom line is I go by Darkside Phil across the internet. I've been making YouTube videos since 2007, started doing it a lot more seriously in late 2008, and actually started doing this as a profession in late 2010.
The profession.
However, most of my videos are raw gameplay. Me just sitting down and playing a game, unedited. You get the entire experience from start to finish. So if you're someone like me who's not exactly of superior skill in every single game, you can actually see what the experience would be of playing these new games at launch. That was very popular at one point, and at one point I was virally popular on YouTube.
Was virally popular.
Thousands of views on every video that I uploaded. Those times have gone by the wayside, and even though I do still successfully have a channel called dspgaming, where I daily live stream and do raw gameplay videos.
How many subs did he have at the time? 184,000? Legit. Since he made that video, what was it, like years ago? Actual years ago. 6 years ago. He's grown only to 200,000. What a scrub.
I realized earlier this year that if I was going to keep doing this for a job, that I had to evolve. And one thing I really like on YouTube these days are more edited style content. You like countdowns, you like montages, you like reviews that are in-depth and have gameplay footage of what you're referencing in the review. You like first impressions videos on a new series or a DLC and that kind of stuff. And that's my goal here with KOGaming. If you like raw gameplay, please by all means check out my dspgaming channel. But this is the place where you're going to get maybe 1 or 2 videos a week, whatever the hot new releases, I'll be talking about it, whether it's a review or my impressions of it. It might be more in-depth, like some of my reviews that many of you have checked out, like Uncharted 4 and Doom, or it could be a lot more of just a quick once-over on why the game sucks, like I did with Homefront: The Revolution. Now, FYI, I'm going to be taking some time off starting this coming weekend of June 4th and 5th because my parents are actually going to be flying across the country.
Hey, big ups parents.
First time in a year and a half.
Big ups Linda and Dave.
Lots of things together, and so you're not going to really see anything here on KOGaming for about a week and a half. However, to give you a little bit of a sneak preview, E3 week, things are going to pick up big time because what I'm planning to do is to cover each one of the major press conferences from all of these game developers over on my vlogging channel, The King of Hate Vlogs. But what I'm going to do is take the information from those and basically make some videos for this channel, including the best and worst of E3 in my opinion, that kind of stuff. And so expect some fun E3 related content that week around the middle of June. And of course, when new releases start coming out again in late June, you're going to see more things like reviews and impressions and the like. Starting this summer, when it's going to be very slow because there aren't going to be many gameplay releases in months like July, I'm going to start working on things such as top 10 countdowns. What are my top 10?
All right, let's see. He hyped this channel up as if it's the best thing in life. And of course, when you first open it, you're going to see that it used to be a dumpster for just playthroughs and garbage in pre-streams. And you see this pre-stream from 4 years ago was still an hour long. So if anything, his pre-streams have become longer. Because of course they have. Because it's Phil, you guys, it's Phil. He likes talking to you, having meaningful interactions, and explaining stuff in excruciating detail that nobody asked for. So as you can see, this channel that had so much potential, everybody loved it. Oh, and now we have an alert video. I'm very interested in this alert video. Let's check this out. Alert! My future on YouTube is at stake. Please support. And this is the opening frame, because of course it is.
All right, what's going on, everyone?
What's going on, everyone?
And this is a special video for those of you who are watching my videos on YouTube. Okay.
How many videos like this dude make? How many videos has he made like this? And so it happens that in the last 2 years, he's probably made like 3 videos specifically for my YouTube audience. I need your buy-in, or else I need to turn off the music for this game because ad revenue. And this video only got a pathetic amount of views in 5,000 views. So I don't know if it was worth it, but apparently it was because he probably got a bunch of money off of it.
Okay. Those who are still watching all of my classic videos on gaming on a daily basis, 8 years of work that I put on that channel. And for those of you who have transitioned over in the last week to my other YouTube channel, KOGaming, so that you could continue to watch the ongoing playthroughs and all the new gameplay that I've been doing since DSP Gaming ran into trouble in the last week and was demonetized, all right? For those who want to know, the news is not good. The news is very grim.
Dude, the eyes, the bug eyes. Amazing, I love them.
Ran into trouble in the last week and was demonetized, all right? For those who want to know, the news is not good.
These eyes. These eyes, dude.
The news is very grim. AdSense, Google AdSense has not responded to my appeal to try to get...
The swiftness with which he abandoned this channel.
Dude, yeah, immediately. Immediately. As something bad happens, he gets demonetized, he's gone. Making a new channel, going on an old channel that's still monetized. And this has been his whole career, is just moving people from one channel to the other. From one platform to the other. Then getting demonetized, banned, departnered, kicked out in some shape or form. And then it's just, he's moving people from one place to the other. People are falling off the boat. He's losing support, and now he's on one of the OG channels, the DSP Gaming. We're back on that one. Until something bad happens there, he gets demonetized there, and he's back on KOGaming. Someday.
Get DSP Gaming remonetized.
And by the way, he's so creative that he called it KOGaming, and he doesn't even know what the KO means. Because I think he's mentioned in the past that he doesn't know what it means, and it doesn't mean knockout gaming. It's just KOGaming, whatever KO means.
And creator support, which is the helpline for YouTube, is literally just kind of under the impression that we can't do anything until we get a yes or no answer from AdSense.
Yeah, big ups J-Dog for super chat.
AdSense has literally just ignored me. And I don't have
ghosted him.
Contact with Google AdSense.
This is my favorite DSP trope as well. People ghosting DSP. I love it so much. They fucking ignored me. I'm important. I deserve attention.
Can't seem to find anyone to talk to besides submit this form and just hope that you get a response. It's been a week. I've gotten no response. So right now, things are grim when it comes to me and my presence on YouTube. 8 years of work on DSP Gaming, I cannot monetize anymore. I mean, it's great, and I want.
You're not entitled though. This is the thing with whiners on YouTube complaining about ads and ad revenues and this being their job. It doesn't have to be. YouTube was never designed to be anybody's job. So you should be thankful for every day you're supposed to make money on this platform. And if one day they pull the rug and you're not capable of doing that anymore, well, you better have a backup plan. Or else you're going to be Phil, and you're not going to know what to do because you put all your eggs in one basket.
We have transitioned over to KOGaming in the last week. Those videos are monetized, and if you guys haven't noticed, those videos are very long. I'm now putting out very long videos on a daily basis.
He's evolved.
Instead of the old 10-minute parts I used to do on DSP Gaming, the videos on KOGaming are like 1-2 hours long, which is what you guys have asked me for years. You said just make long gameplay videos that are more art.
But I only evolve when I'm forced to, as in when some disaster happens, I start listening. But until then, I know better than you. And then it kind of turns out that you guys were correct, and then I do what you asked me for years.
Streams rather
because I appreciate my audience so more.
Than these ridiculously short parts. So I'm doing exactly what you want, and I'm trying to make it so that those who still like my YouTube videos and watching my content on YouTube can still watch it. But I'm going to be very upfront and honest with you guys. I need your help. If you guys want to continue to see me upload videos to YouTube, at this point, since I'm making no money whatsoever on DSP Gaming, and I'm making almost nothing on KOGaming, which I'm going to talk about in just a moment, I need you to help support everything, all right? So what's the situation? I used to have a ton of income coming from DSP Gaming. On a monthly basis, I'd say 30 to 40% of my monthly income was from ad revenue on DSP Gaming. That has now gone to zero. I'm making nothing whatsoever on DSP Gaming for a week, and it looks like
you love to see it
at this point.
You love to see it.
On KOGaming, it's great that you guys have gone over there and you're watching the videos, but just to give you some perspective, I went from making 30 to 40% of my revenue on YouTube. I now make $10 a day.
Okay.
$10 a day.
That's too much. You're not entitled to any money from this platform, DSP. You're not entitled to it. And this goes out to all the other whiners as well that whine about ad revenue and algorithms and shit like that. Nobody owes you this money. You should be grateful to have the ability to put out dumb shit on the internet and make money off of it. It wasn't designed to be this, and it wasn't meant to be this. It's just an extra. And you making this your livelihood is your fault. Your fault.
On KOGaming with the video.
Just like Boogie, when Boogie was crying about not being able to do anything else. That's your fault. You didn't have to be Francis all this time. You didn't have to be Francis. You could have done some much better things. Like people that have used YouTube as a springboard to do better things and to make their own business something else that is not dependent on this. But it's your fault.
That I uploaded this past week. Now, undoubtedly, the more videos I upload over there, it's going to build up a body of work, and I'm going to start making more very slowly. And especially with August, September, October coming up and all the new game releases, as long as you guys keep heading over to KOGaming and watching those videos on KOGaming, yes, I will make a little bit more revenue. But the whole point of this is I was making...
Oh, I was making a lot, now I'm not, so I'm gonna cry.
More money than that on YouTube, to the point where now there's no way, there's absolutely no way, as is, I can even afford my bills on, with the money I'm making just on Twitch. Now, I want to say this, the Twitch audience has been amazing. They've come out, they've been incredibly supportive during the streams. At this point, I really can't go to my Twitch viewers, my
most popular YouTubers that expire just move on.
Well, yeah, they do move on, or some of them, they just decide they want to do better stuff. Some of them want to do like night shows like Lily Singh or David Dobrik, or those people that try and make it into TV, and then it doesn't work because their audience is just not who is going to catch on to that show. But at least they tried, right? And DSP has been doing this shit all the fucking time. And he's just been crying. His whole career is crying about views, crying about tips, crying about other people who are better than him. He's just crying. He's a big crybaby. And he never chose to like actually transcend this and do something by himself, or like take a risk and make a product that is not dependent on all these services that might cut you off at any time. And that's why he's still crying.
My stream viewers and ask for anything more. Those guys are being amazing. They're cheering, they're subbing, they're tipping. They're going out of their way to support me, okay? And they've been like that. Like the Twitch streams have been growing exponentially. I'm getting more followers, more viewers, you know, on average. And the support this month, the month of July, was amazing. It was one of the best, most supportive months I've ever had on Twitch. But pair that with making nothing on YouTube. See what I mean? So the truth of the matter is this, guys, something's got to give. And, you know,
I love this. Something's gotta give. You gotta give. That's what he's telling you.
10 years.
Something's gotta give. What the fuck does that even mean?
10 years, even though this last year my revenue did completely dramatically drop on YouTube because of the YouTube adpocalypse, I still continue to consistently upload videos for you guys on YouTube, especially those
who... Here's the guilt trip. I've been doing this for you guys, YouTube. Time to give back. Those videos are free. I don't have to do them. And you enjoyed them. So give that money.
And Phil, you know, I can't watch your videos on Twitch because it's too much. The bandwidth limitations are too high. If I try to watch any video on Twitch...
Bullshit ass bandwidth limitations, whatever the fuck that is.
It just chops up and I can't watch it, but I can watch stuff on YouTube, so please keep uploading to YouTube. Okay, but what I'm kind of telling you guys now is I need to make a living, and I'm making nothing on the YouTube video.
I need to make a living. Means is that you don't need to make a living on YouTube. And also, this is a great rodent face, because those front teeth, they stick out like he's a little rat. Because he's a rat bastard.
I need you guys who are
the rat
watchers, who are longtime fans of mine and who love my YouTube content, to please step up and support the effort. How? The primary way you can is to go to my Patreon at patreon.com/darksidephil and pledge today.
Pledge today. What a great call to action. Pledge today.
As little as $1 helps, okay? I've been saying this ever since I opened my Patreon 3 years ago. People are, oh, I can't make a significant impact. $1 a month actually helps and adds up, all right? The bottom line is, if you look at the amount of people who watch my videos on dspgaming and the amount of people who are watching the new videos on KOGaming, you're talking at least 1,000 unique individuals a day watch my content.
Yeah, it's like a telethon. It literally is. Pledge today.
Tens of thousands, depending on
tens of thousands. Imagine $1 from each one of those people. That would be amazing, dude.
A fraction of those pledged to my Patreon, I would be fine. I would not have to rely whatsoever on the YouTube ad revenue, and I'd be in a good position. The problem is less than 200 people pledge to my Patreon on a monthly basis.
Okay.
And since I made the transition more to be a Twitch streamer than anything else, even less people are pledging to my Patreon.
This fucking trash,
Good
man.
though, because they are contributing.
And this is the people that think he can change. They should go and watch all the alert videos and see that he's exactly the same. And his begging narratives are always the same. If this bad thing happened, please give money because I'm giving you this content.
To the streams, but you see what I mean? Like, I need that support on Patreon every month. Right now, if I could double, triple my support on Patreon, things would be in a much better position. I wouldn't be so worried. But the bottom line is, within the next 1 to 2 months, I need to find a solution for having 0 ad revenue on YouTube. If you guys pledge to my Patreon, that would fix that. Okay, I need you, if you are an ongoing and avid watcher of my videos on YouTube, to pledge to my Patreon. Okay, it's that simple. It's do or die time.
It's do or die.
Watch me for 10 years, and you probably have this mentality that Phil will overcome everything.
Yeah, because you made this your brand, that Phil will always survive. Phil will always survive. He will always make it, and people became comfortable with it because you made this your brand. That you're the roach.
Ever worry about contributing to Phil, because no matter what, he always seems to overcome every hurdle.
Yeah, this alert is on KOGaming. This is a classic video. It's not a recent one.
Now I'm in a situation, if there's no clear end in sight, there's no way out, you have to contribute if you want to keep seeing me be able to put out videos on YouTube, period. Okay? Because I'll be honest with you guys. I've been looking at a few options. All right? And one of the options I'm looking at is just becoming a full-time Twitch streamer and just abandoning YouTube completely. Because if I'm making $10 a day, the work that it takes to upload the videos to YouTube and babysit them.
Oh yeah, the work.
And playlists and then tweet out when the stuff is live.
Oh, massive work, dude. Sending out a fucking tweet. Look at how busy he makes himself look.
Is it worth it for $10 a day?
Is it worth it for $10 a day to upload a video and tweet out that it's live and put it in a playlist? Dude, I don't know. It almost seems like you don't value any kind of money. Because if he was this broke, then $10 a day would still mean something.
When instead, I could be focusing exclusively on my Twitch streams. I don't have to worry about copywritten music and just put out the Twitch streams daily with whatever music is on them, right? Because I don't have to worry about copyright or content ID on YouTube. I could do special stream-only events. It says I'm not recording locally ever anymore. If I only do streams on Twitch, I can now play PC games on my PC.
Whoa, all these promises.
I mean, there's a lot of...
He did play on the PC, it just wasn't very good.
This dude runs the most expensive streaming service in history. It's a nightly subscription.
Legitimately, legit the most expensive streaming service.
Benefits if I were to become 100%
legitimately
Twitch streamer.
Big ups.
Now, I'm not saying that's what I want to do, but if I may have to do it, I may have to do it. If you want to see me keep uploading to YouTube right now, since it looks like there's really slim to no chance that dspgaming is going to...
Dude, and people like, because there's people with smaller channels than him that do this as a hobby, that bust their ass to edit videos after work. Like, they work a full-time job and they come home and edit videos, record videos, script videos, and put in way more effort. For smaller channels that do this not even for money. They don't even care about that shit. They just do it because they like it. And this dude that is super passionate doesn't even care about uploading videos for $10 a day. Big ups, DSP.
I need you to pledge to my Patreon. Now,
I need the Patreon.
You can contribute to. You could go to my Teespring shop and buy a t-shirt.
That doesn't exist anymore.
Or something that helps out. Or even if you don't attend the streams, I do have a tips page.
And now we're shilling tips. Tips page?
Where you can lend me a tip. You can actually say, "Oh, Phil, I want."
You can lend me a tip.
And buy a t-shirt or something.
You can lend me a tip.
Or even if you don't attend the streams, I do have a tips page. Where you can lend me a tip. You can
lend me a tip.
Videos
he's gonna give it back when he's okay. When he's in a good financial state, he's gonna give back the tip. It's just a lend.
I pledge to your Patreon, but here's a tip. Hope this helps you out. You could do that too, okay? And all that information's on my Twitch page. If you want to go check that out, twitch.tv/DarkSidePhil has all the details on how to tip me.
And go on Twitch. I got too low bandwidth.
But this is it. I'm not kidding. I'm not joking. This is not me over-exaggerating.
I'm not joking.
No money on...
Why is this so funny then, if you're not joking?
YouTube, all right. I made like $80 on YouTube in the last week.
I make no money on YouTube. Okay. I made $80.
But this is it. I'm not
This is it.
I'm not joking. This is not me over-exaggerating. I made no money on YouTube. All right. I made like $80 on YouTube in the last week.
That's basically nothing.
That is not enough to support me, and within 2 months here, if I can't get a solution, I'm not going to be able to afford my bills anymore. There's going to be drastic measures that have to be taken, and if it's forget YouTube, I just become a full-time streamer, I guess that's what it's going to have to be. I don't want it to be that, but it's always been I could still work as a YouTuber and a streamer because I'm making the revenue from YouTube to make sense to work on that. Now I'm not anymore. This is literally like fan service for me putting.
It's fan service. It's fan service.
Support, guys, please.
Please.
Patreon.com/DarkSidePhil pledge. By the way, if you pledge right now in the next 3 days by the end of July, you're going to get in. Today we hit the subscriber goal on my Twitch channel for the month, which means you will be able to nominate and
wait,
vote.
This was a nice screenshot. I'm going to rewind this because I want to catch
the next 3 days by the end of July.
Screenshot, it was so good.
Hit the subscriber goal on my Twitch channel for the month, which means you
This one. Oh no, come on, I missed it. Can I go back by a frame?
on my Twitch channel for the month, which means you will be
the you right in the camera. Yes, you will be able to do all that if you go on Twitch. Just go on Twitch now. Please go on Twitch. Send a tip.
able to nominate and vote on your favorite moments in my 10-year history here as a YouTuber for a special event that I'm going to be doing in September where I am going to react to my old content. So if you pledge $5 or more to my Patreon by the end of July, you have 3 days to do it. All right, you're going to be nominating and voting on, it could be a playthrough you loved, a moment in a playthrough, a vlog, like my old series, like an old DSP tries it, a friend request ridicule video, hell, Project 7, that kind of stuff.
Whoa, Project 7.
Watch it back live on stream. Of course, I'll record it for YouTube as well. And it's cool, a 10-year retro.
Oh, dude, I love these videos. It's just like, it's so cool, man. And they're all kind of the same, but kind of unique in their own ways. So let's see, what are the popular videos? Because they made it so you don't get to see the older videos, or you don't get to sort them by date. So I guess let's see the popular videos. A hate video about Homefront the Revolution, 1.1 million. Amazing video. Everybody loved it. A No Man's Sky hate review. Nobody loved the game. Now they love it because now it's good. But he made his views off of it. And basically, as you can see, they're just falling apart. Just 57K, 55, and he just failed. Top 10 worst things at E3 2016. 47K. A positive video about Doom 2016, but this didn't make as much as the negative videos, so obviously he was more inspired to make the negative videos. Not so mighty, but not so bad. A fair review of Mighty Number 9. Bleh. A fitting end to a masterpiece, Uncharted 4. Operation Raccoon Shitty. Umbrella Corpse review. And yeah, that game was bad. I remember everybody was roasting it. What the fuck did I just play? A review of Inside. And the Overwatch tips, this is some classic video. I've already watched it like 3 times on the streams. I remember all of it. It's just great. It's just him basically telling you the bare minimum about the game and explaining you the bare minimum mechanics with terrible gameplay. Terrible gameplay. Oh, we got a Horizon Zero Dawn review. A beautiful story you've already played. Which I kind of agree with. But I guess that game is worth like a playthrough. Most disappointing games of 2016. Let's check this out. I think I've seen this before, but fuck it. Why not? And these ones have timestamps. Is this a timestamp that he wrote?
2016 has finally come to a close.
Oh, I think they're automatic chapters, because for these videos, YouTube can actually make them automatic.
Year that for many people they seem to enjoy a consensus was one of the worst in recent memory. It doesn't seem to have been any different for the realm of video games. Typically I do a top 10 list of the most disappointing games of the year, but I found myself so hard pressed to narrow down the amount of upsetting, disappointing, shitty video games from this past year. I'm actually doing a top 20 countdown. That's right, the top 20.
And wait, part 1 has what? How many videos? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5. So he has 4 videos in this series. Of course he does. Of course he does.
20 most disappointing games.
And ironically, if he made a video like this nowadays and put them all in one video, it would actually make a decent amount of views, because people like those longer videos that are countdowns. That's why Angry Joe does them like that.
of this past year. Now you might say, well, what constitutes a disappointing game? I just want to be upfront and say here, just because a game shows up on this list doesn't necessarily mean that it's a bad game. The games in this countdown are going to include games that, yes, absolutely were shitty, overpriced, underwhelming, and disappointing in one way or another, but that doesn't mean that they were terrible. In a lot of ways, some of the games that were released in 2016,
yeah, big ups for the membership, come along,
were so hyped or had such a long development cycle or had so much anticipation built up over the years for them that when they finally released, it was just so underwhelming and not living up to that amazing amount of expectation that we all felt kind of downed when we finally got our hands on them. But the flip side of that is that there were a ton of games that were shameless cash-ins, rip-offs, crappy performance at launch, and just overall did not deserve our hard-earned dollars, and those are going to be in this countdown as well. So without further ado, it's time for part 1 of my most disappointing games of 2016 countdown. Prepare your butts.
Prepare your butts.
Number 20.
Oh, damn, nice.
WWE 2K17.
WWE 2K17.
Now, I'm a huge fan of pro wrestling, and annually I always purchase the latest WWE release because I like to do various things in the game, including creating my
big ups Blast for 6 months, dude.
Mode,
big ups.
checking out any kind of story mode that may be in the game, and also simulating some fantasy-style matches for holidays and special events. So 2017's edition was no different, except for the fact that 2KGames, the developer, announced that they were not going to be including any kind of a showcase or story mode. Now, this was a big letdown from the get-go because traditionally this showcase mode is a highlight. It's a cool single-player mode where you can experience all kinds of stuff from wrestling past. Previous years have included the career of Stone Cold Steve Austin, retelling of the Attitude Era of the WWE, and also the rivalry between Shawn Michaels and Triple H. So to not have that mode in the game seemed like a real step back, and purchasers asked, gee, what are you going to give us in kind of
His character
also
looks like him, and his t-shirt just says shit on it. That's all that it says.
Shawn Michaels.
Imagine you got a wrestler that just wears a t-shirt and jeans, and the t-shirt just says shit on it. That's all it says.
And
how creative, man.
Have that mode.
How fucking creative this man.
In the game seemed like a real step back, and purchasers asked, gee, what are you going to give us in kind of exchange for not having that mode? The game developer said, well, don't worry, because this year the My Career mode is going to be much better than previous years, including a new promo system and having more opportunities at titles and all kinds of added additions. So we all bought into it. We bought the game, and sadly, we all found out the hard way that all these promises pretty much were not lived up to. First of all, the new promo mode is incredibly silly. All you do is you pick various different quick time speech choices during a little promo. Yeah, maybe you have opportunity to build up either your heel character or your face character a tiny bit more, but ultimately, when you're trying to simulate matches and or a television show or pay-per-view, these promos feel more like something that splits up the actual events that you want to get to, the matches, and holds up the actual fun content rather than anything else. If anything, it was a good attempt at adding something new, but ultimately it fell flat on its face. Now, the rest of the career mode, unfortunately, just pans out to be pretty damned boring. Sure, there's more wrestlers than ever before, there's more created character features than ever before, but the bottom line is you just grind and grind and grind at repetitive, meaningless...
Yeah, I definitely think that WWF No Mercy or Here Comes the Pain are the best wrestling games ever, because they used to be more arcadey, and it was just more flexible with the amount of stuff you can do, and therefore you could be more creative. While in these games, it's just so, they try and do it like a simulation, and it ends up really robotic and really kind of clunky and slow-paced, and they kind of break down the pace of the game.
One-off matches week after week.
But there was this cool element that they added in one of the games when I kind of enjoyed it, where you could do a finisher from different positions. So like Randy Orton does the RKO on somebody jumping off the springboard, and it just comes out of nowhere and it's fun. But you also needed to set up for that quite a bit. So it takes away from the how spontaneous it used to be.
after week after week. Only upon release, we all found out that it could take upwards of 10 to 15 hours of repetitive grinding gameplay before you even get a...
Oh yeah, those like SmackDown versus Raw, like 2007, 2010, 2009. Those were really cool. But there was also this one for the GameCube, the Day of Reckoning. I thought that one was pretty cool as well.
Thing interesting, and you all know when you have a created wrestler and you're playing career mode, you want to reach the...
And there was a TNA Impact game for the PSP that I enjoyed quite a bit. Even though that one is not great, but I still liked it a bit because it was different and it was like the animations were pretty good and the physics felt pretty nice at the time.
Of the rung, the upper echelon, win a tournament, get that title, defend it against opposition, and maybe even move up to the next level of championship. It takes so long in WWE 2K17 that you just give up at some...
Oh, and there was the classic WWE Raw game for the PC. Before they started porting those games on the PC as well, there wasn't any wrestling games for the PC. That you couldn't play with an emulator. So there was this Raw game that people would make mods for, and of course they would crash all the time because it was mods, but that game was pretty okay.
And so for a game that took out a featured game mode that we all loved to add in a My Career mode that was incredibly underwhelming, too boring, and so much of a grind to get to anything interesting, it just seemed like the game devs did not live up to their promises, and sadly, 2K17 really does feel like the worst entry in the WWE series for the past several years. Number 19, Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2. You know, sometimes game developers just...
And I think one of the biggest problem, just to close it out with the WWE games, one of the biggest problems in that is that the difficulty in those games is all about you hitting the reversal button on time. So if you can figure out when to put it, when to hit it, you're basically going to win constantly. Because when I was playing them on the PSP, in some of those like 2016, 2017 on the PC, and I figured out how to reverse properly, that was it. I could play on the hardest difficulty and no problem. And also, kicking out of a pin is so obnoxious with the ways that they made you kick out of a pin. Because sometimes when you're tired and you're trying to have like a 5-star match, a dude is just going to hit you with a generic kick and you're going to fall, and then he's going to go for the pin. And there's nothing you can do to kick out. It's impossibly hard.
That classic mantra of if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But you gotta be careful because when you're creating a sequel to an established franchise, you have to make sure that you have enough innovation and new content to warrant an actual new game release. And sadly, with Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, it seems like the game developers were trying to improve upon the formula of the original game so much, they forgot they were actually making a sequel. The plotline is identical to that of the first game. A lot of the characters, even the major villains are the same, and yeah, even some of the actual combat scenarios are just ones from the established Dragon Ball Z franchise, so therefore you're redoing a lot of the identical fights from the original game. Now, not to say that there aren't noted improvements, including a very increased frame rate from the original release, a hub city that seems a lot more interesting because now you can move through it more quickly and you can actually fly around rather than always running on foot, which was a major complaint of people who played the first one, and also some pretty...
Sure, I guess let's skip through this one to something that I can actually add something to, because then it's just like playing the video and listening to it.
And sometimes it just doesn't translate. With Attack on Titan, sadly, it falls into the latter category because this is a very popular anime and manga established plotline where humanity is on its last legs. They're hidden behind these defensive walls as giant mutated monsters are attacking them and trying to eat them alive for seemingly no reason, and it's up to an elite class of highly trained assassins to take down these mutated monstrosities. It's a cool premise, but translated into gameplay of a video game, after about an hour of playing Attack on Titan, you've pretty much seen everything the game has to offer, including all of the gameplay mechanics and pretty much every enemy type you're going to see throughout the entirety of the game. Now you may say, yeah, but in the actual series itself, there's not a wide variety of enemies as well. That's true, and that's probably one of the reasons why this doesn't translate well into a video game. If you're gonna sell me a full-price retail game, you gotta give me something to hold me over for, you know, 8 to 10 to 12.
Yeah, I guess this is kind of the point of his reviews, that they all sound the same and are like identical to other journalist stuff, because he claims to be the average gamer. So all of his reviews are just super average at best, because this is a pretty serviceable video, you know. It's been edited okay enough to like pass for the time. It has a song in the background. It has a dude talking over it and saying some stuff about the game. But it's just, at best, this channel just has mediocre stuff. And at worst, they're just terrible reviews and terribly made videos.
Gameplay that's not the same repetitive grinding over and over, and sadly that's what happens with Attack on Titan. Now, to make matters worse, there actually are missions unlocking new kinds of elements and enemies past the main campaign of the game, but you have to do insane amounts of grinding, repetitive, boring side missions that mean absolutely nothing to earn enough credits to actually unlock those missions and get to them, making it an even more of a grind and a time waster game. For a franchise that we all know and love from Japanese culture, it's sad that this game did not translate into an entertaining game at all. It was a really big letdown. Number 17, The Walking Dead Michonne. Telltale Games has become a game developing studio that is known for taking any kind of a pop culture franchise.
And you already know this, the voiceover was made in one take. It's 1000%. He just sits there, he looks at the list, okay, number 18, The Walking Dead. And then yada yada yada, that's it. We pause the recording, we go to the next one.
Able to adapt it to a narrative,
because it's like when you watch a video like this, it's pretty easy to visualize how his editing timeline would look like, which is just, you know, you have a track that is looping with audio, that is the background track, and just a bunch of random gameplay on top. Because for those videos, you don't need specific gameplay. You just slap whatever you can find, and then you just put the voiceover on top, and then that's it. And at some points, you just put some text on the screen without even caring how it looks like. You just copy paste it.
Episodic based video game that basically becomes gaming gold. I mean, they've made their mark in the realm of game development over the past several years for this style of game. And The Walking Dead is the game franchise that put them on the map. It's incredibly successful. In fact, we just started up with season 3 and already the game is turning out to be pretty awesome. And so in 2016, Telltale decided, hey, let's have a spin-off franchise with The Walking Dead Michonne. Now the difference here...
Yeah, I don't know if this was the game where he was laughing when the character was fixing their wound. I don't know about that one.
Character in the series, Michonne, is already an established character from the Walking Dead franchise. The problem here being, we know that she's going to be fine because she goes on to do great things both in the comics and the television show, and we know Michonne has no risk involved whatsoever in this plot line because it's kind of a prequel story to a lot of the things we've already seen, and therefore it takes away all of the suspense and risk element of the game. You know Michonne's never going to get killed, never going to get bitten, and there's pretty much no risk at all. She's kind of a godlike character protected from any kind of element of risk, and therefore the game ends up being incredibly boring. And ultimately, if you never play The Walking Dead Michonne, you've missed absolutely nothing because you know nothing's going to happen to her. Hopefully in the future, Telltale Games learns from this experience because ultimately...
But isn't it about the... Because also, I agree partially with this. I can see the point where I wouldn't care about playing a prequel because I already know the outcome. But it is also about the story of how that character became who we know that they are. Right? It's also about the journey, not just the destination. Because otherwise I could just like play a movie and skip to the ending and just see what happens to the characters. And if I've seen this, then I wouldn't really care about the journey leading up to it. So that's not really a great point, even though that's partially why I don't like prequels that much, but I also don't mind them.
Where the character you know is...
Like if they're for some like super well-known characters, like when they did that Han Solo movie that was completely useless because like let's be real, that movie wasn't that good. It wasn't good at all. When they do shit like this just for the sake of doing it, then I got a problem with it. But some prequels are great. Of course, Better Call Saul, obviously. And there's other prequels that have been done very well. Like House of the Dragon that's going on right now is a good prequel, even though I kind of quit watching it.
Going to be protected, especially in the realm of The Walking Dead where everyone is constantly at risk, and that's part of the success of the suspenseful plotline of that franchise. You need to have that risk element. This game didn't have it, and it ended up kind of being boring and kind of a throwaway experience, and that's a shame. Number 16, Hitman. I was critical of this game during its course of game development because Square Enix...
Oh, this is because they because they released it piecemeal, isn't it?
Developer couldn't seem to decide what they wanted to do with the game. At first they said it was going to be an episodic digital release, then they changed their mind and said it would be a physical retail disc, then they kind of changed their mind again amidst development and said no, it will be an episodic digital release over the course of 2016 and we'll finally release a retail disc at the end of the year. Now this was an experiment because we were wondering, could you take a franchise that's always been released as full retail games and split it up among these kind of more digestible digital episodes and make it successful? Ultimately, Hitman did decently sales-wise, and I do think that actually the gameplay of the game was quite good. There were a lot of unique locations, some really awesome disguises, some creative and unique and interesting and fun ways to take out your targets. I think the gameplay was actually on par with that of the Hitman franchise. But two critical things really held it back in my opinion. The first being the fact that the game seemed to have a lot of bugs and issues. For example, sometimes I would reload a game and all of the characters had been moved throughout the map from when I had actually saved the game. You know, I saved with a target in the next room just in case if I screw up, I can redo it from that point. I reload the save, the target's not in that room anymore. What happened?
This kind of takes away from the experience for me. I mean, if he wants to do it like that, then cool. Even though he's a content creator, he shouldn't be save scumming like that. Because it kind of takes away from, you know, the uniqueness of every Hitman level and when you try and do it. And when you try and like save scum your way, it kind of takes away from it.
What was the point of even saving the game if it was...
Maybe it did have bugs. I don't remember how it was when it released, but maybe it did have bugs.
To completely reset or reshuffle the map, that doesn't seem to make sense. In addition, sometimes these characters are absolutely psychic. They can see you through walls. Everyone magically gets psychically alerted when only one character sees you, which makes absolutely no sense. It's everything wrong with this kind of game. If you're trying to be hyper realistic and you're trying to simulate an assassin trying to come through silently, you want to be sure that the targets and the different people, security guards, etc., are going to react realistically, and sadly that doesn't really happen in Hitman a lot of the time. But for me, even more so than the bugs and those issues was the fact that the story felt so disjointed because the episodes were released so sporadically throughout the course of 2016 that I really didn't get any kind of a story whatsoever out of the game. Yeah, every single episode had a cutscene or two that kind of advanced the storyline, but ultimately by the end there's a couple characters that are gone. You don't know where the hell they are or what happened to them. It's a big cliffhanger ending at the end of this game that doesn't really resolve anything, and ultimately it feels more kind of like, well, this was a way to give you more Hitman gameplay, but it doesn't really feel like a full entry in the Hitman series. More just like, here, you're in the Jelly of the Month Club, where every month I'm gonna...
Whoa, that's a great meme.
Delicious offering of gameplay of Hitman, but ultimately it doesn't add anything to the franchise nor add anything to the gameplay. It's just kind of a subscriber-based system where you're going to get some little bit of snippets of gameplay here and there throughout the course of the year.
They did fix that with Hitman 2 and 3 when they all just came out at once and you got the whole game. Even though the story is still disjointed, and I don't even think it ended in Hitman 3.
And I didn't like it. I actually think that Hitman makes more sense as a whole game that's polished and finished, that's digestible, that has a coherent story, and I think that they lost a lot of that cutting it up into an episodic formula, and that's a shame. Well, that's it for this part. Hope you liked the video, and if you did,
please like and subscribe. Let's see part 2. Hopefully it doesn't have the same music, because that shit was repetitive for like 15 minutes straight.
Welcome.
Oh, it does. It's exactly the same. So let's see what the first game is. Battleborn. I think we can all agree this game came out, it tried to compete with Overwatch, it failed, and it died miserably. And we get to skip it. We know what DSP is going to say, because we know what happened. We have the benefits of hindsight. Then we got Mafia 3, which I have some hot takes about. I quite enjoyed that game. I even tried to platinum it.
Retrospect, how many of us...
I didn't, but I tried.
Actually bought it and played it to even figure that out, because we were busy playing Overwatch. Wow.
Do you think DSP would buy a Hogan simulator? This could be the game that reignites his love for gaming.
A Hogan simulator. I don't know if it was like a... Does it simulate his career and you go through the career of Hulk Hogan? Or we just pull Hogans. And it's just like you pull different kinds of Hogans with different skins and you get to play as the different Hogans from the different eras. So you get like the NWO Hogan and he's like edgy. And he got a bunch of dudes with him that beat people up. I guess that could be Hogan Simulator could be cool. They could have this one level where you record a sex tape and then you say some racist stuff, and then you get canceled, and then you sue Gawker. It would be very interesting. Yeah, a multiverse of Hogans. Big up Spoonyton. That could be potentially a very interesting game. You should pitch it to somebody.
Number 14, Mafia 3.
Mafia 3.
Mafia 3 was a really highly hyped and anticipated game release this year. You know, it had been a while since Mafia 2 had come out, and the fact that this time around we were going to be able to control people who were not in the Mafia, but who actually were kind of anti-Mafia, trying to release the Mafia's stranglehold on New Bordeaux, which is the in-game equivalent of real-life New Orleans, Louisiana in the United States. The fact that the cast of characters was varied and interesting and different led to the fact that you could have a more modernized sandbox game, and maybe this was the game that we were all looking for. And sadly, I actually feel that Mafia 3 was in a lot of ways a great game, but didn't live up to any of our expectations. First off, the actual plotline of Mafia...
Bro, what is this take? I think it was a great game, but didn't live up to any of our expectations. Then how was it a great game if it didn't live up to any expectations you got? What? So this is just him trying to fence it so people in the comments don't say, hey, Mafia 3, you were too rough on that game.
3, if you're following along the story of the main characters and some of the epic style missions whenever you're going up against a big mob boss and trying to take them out in a creative way, some of these missions and plot elements are great. And if the game only featured them, this game would probably be 8 to 10 hours long and be amazing, but everyone would probably complain, just like they did with Mafia 2, that the game was far too short and there wasn't any side content. So what did they do? They tacked on an insane amount of side content, which is good, but the problem was they made the side content mandatory.
Well, here he's wrong. Not all of the side content is mandatory. You need to do a certain amount to be able to unlock the boss, which I personally very much enjoyed. I did all of that shit. I did all the side content because I found it a lot of fun. Even though it was repetitive, I just enjoyed the repetition, just like I enjoy the repetition in some of the Assassin's Creed games. I liked it a lot. You didn't have to do all of it. You had to do a couple of missions for each district, for each business, for each racket to unlock the actual story mission. And I also did enjoy the handling of the cars a lot. I like the way they drive. Because nowadays, most of the open world games make their driving in traversal really boring and generic, kind of like with Watch Dogs, where driving a car just feels like you're going ice skating with cars, is just not great. And Mafia made it feel heavy and kind of like a simulation. And you could pick between simulation and arcade.
So if you want to progress to the next leg of the story in Mafia 3, you have to go do literally 2 to 3 hours of repetitive gameplay, kill a bunch of generic targets, destroy a bunch of generic property, steal a van and drive it across the map while people are coming after you. All the kind of really grindy, boring style gameplay that we've seen in sandbox games over the past 10 to 15 years, it's all present here in Mafia 3, and sadly it is not optional. You have to do all of it in order to properly progress the story and get to the next leg of finally interesting content hidden behind the wall of boring grinding. This was a terrible game development choice, and paired with the fact that the game had some wonky driving physics, had some really big bugs and glitches, including
bugs,
PCs.
Upon release, this game was very, very poorly optimized, and it was glitchy beyond belief. And for a game like this, it can really turn people off, especially if there's actual gameplay issues and repetition issues and stuff like that. Totally, I get where he comes from.
It just didn't feel like a...
And also, they took away a lot of immersive mechanics that used to be in Mafia 2, because I remember in that game you could break into a weapons store and rob the cash register and steal some guns and stuff. You could go to a clothing store and buy clothes. You could go to a gas station and rob it. You could do so many like little immersive things that kind of made the world feel more full of things to do, even though it wasn't. Because I don't think that game had any side content. It was just main stuff. And they still made it feel like it had way more than it actually did. You could change the license plates on your cars, and they just took it away from the third game for no reason.
transparent and or polished experience. It felt like they had two different games, an 8 to 10 hour awesome game and a 20 to 30 hour boring game, and they crammed the boring gameplay into the interesting game to make it longer and pad the length, and ultimately it comes up as a disappointing mess of a game rather than one that feels like a short but sweet experience like Mafia 2 did. So sometimes directly listening to feedback from your gamers and your purchasers doesn't pan out. Adding in all this side content to Mafia 3 made it a worse game than if it didn't have it in it, and it was pretty disappointing. Number 13, Dead Rising 4. Oh, Capcom, how you've taken all of your...
Yeah, Dead Rising 4, kind of like Battleborn, is pretty notorious for being an underwhelming release. So let's see, is this...
Number 12.
Oh, Quantum Break. Quantum Break was broken on PC, I think. The release was... It was so unoptimized, so glitchy. I remember Angry Joe's review on that one. It's just full of glitches. It was linear beyond belief. They tried to simulate like it was a TV show. They got a bunch of semi-popular actors like Aidan Gillen, I think was his name, played Littlefinger, who's a good actor, played the villain for this game, and they got the... what was his name? The dude from X-Men. He played Frostman.
Break. What do you need premise? Let's take a game that's actually going to employ real-life actors from television and movies and film actual filmed cutscenes of very high quality and integrate them in with an action-based, cover-based shooter with time manipulation elements. Let's have critical points during the game where you can make a choice one way or the other, and it actually definitively changes what happens in the game dependent on your choice, even showing you a different cutscene that was filmed for a different scenario dependent on what you chose. It seems like an interesting premise until you actually play Quantum Break. And from a game developer that in the past has made a game like Atom Wake, you would expect that maybe you would get a little bit more out of the gameplay of this game, but sadly the problem is this game feels incredibly disjointed. The plotline and the cutscenes of the game are incredibly interesting, and you want to keep playing to see the next cutscene, to make the next critical choice.
I hate his transitions, man. His transitions are so bad. It's just the zoom in transition. Just have a quick cut. Just cut to the different footage. Fuck it.
To see where the plot is going to go. In fact, I would even say that the cutscenes and the plot line of Quantum Break are on par.
Oh, did he say Atom Wake? Oh yeah, he loved that game so much he got the name wrong.
With
Atom Wake. Quantum Break and Atom Wake.
Major television sci-fi show as of late, including a show like Fringe, that hit show from Fox Television. So what went wrong? The answer is very simple. The gameplay is so boring. It's very cover-based, very cover-based. Seen it before. Even using your time manipulation powers, it feels like you're playing a combination of any generic third-person shooter with, say, Infamous, or a game like that from recent memory, where you have the ability to knock people around or freeze people in time or do this or do that. And ultimately...
But the gameplay he decides to show us is also terrible as well, because it's just him sitting behind cover not doing anything. Because in a video like this, you want to show either what you're talking about, if you can, to make your point clear, or you want to show like actual quality, fun gameplay, some highlights that you got, so to make your video more interesting.
Doesn't feel unique at all.
And he does none of that.
In the gameplay of Quantum Break, you find yourself wanting to stop playing the game because it's so boring and repetitive and grindy, but at the same time you're dying to see the next cutscene because you want to see the plot progress, so you fighting your way and trudge your way through it to get to the next leg. Ultimately, by the time you finish Quantum Break, you feel incredibly underwhelmed and bored because you had to fight through so much.
Hey, what's up, JDX?
To get the story of the game. This game literally would have been better as a television series, which is what it should have been, and they should have just said screw the gameplay aspect of it. If we can't find something interesting to integrate into this story, don't make a game. This game probably would have been better as a narrative-based game, like a Telltale game, or anything else besides a cover-based shooter. It single-handedly ruined it and ended up being incredibly disappointing. Number 11. Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. Now, hold on before you jump on the hate bandwagon that permeated this game throughout the year of 2016.
Well, you want me to produce a record for you? I can do a song, maybe. If you send me, like, a beat, I would, like, go through it and try my hands at something.
People seeing the trailers and shitting.
If you send me an acapella is what I meant.
And basically saying it looks like a game we absolutely have to skip because it looks like a basically a cash-in that is not what the fans want anymore. I do agree, and I actually saw those same trailers as you and was kind of the same mentality. But when I finally played it, I ended up finding it disappointing for a completely different reason. Yes, the multiplayer of Call of Duty Infinite Warfare is terrible. It's a bunch of double jumping, wall running, gimmicky, summon,
so salty,
mutate into a robot fucking dog.
So salty. Because he couldn't wall ride like the other people. He couldn't bunny hop or the whatever they do. Because he's a grandpa, so he's like, oh, these fucking kids, it's terrible.
That has nothing to do with an actual competitive first-person shooter, and in fact, if you actually played Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remastered this year, you played an infinitely better game, and it single-handedly shows why Infinite Warfare is such a watered-down piece of crap for the kiddies, rather than something to be taken seriously as a first-person shooter.
So fucking toxic, dude. The dude is so toxic.
All that being said, the reason this game is disappointing is not that. It's actually because the single-player campaign...
yeah, you can message me on Discord or Twitter, I guess, or the email.
...of Infinite Warfare is exceptionally good. It's actually the best single-player campaign in some 5 years.
Oh yeah, campaign is exceptionally good because it had what was his face? Kevin Spacey. Kevin Spacey. Was he in this one or was he in Advanced Warfare? I think he was in Advanced Warfare. Well, anyways, let's move on to part 3. Because there are 4 of those we need to get through. And all of them are, of course, around 10 minutes long because, hint, hint, ad breaks.
Welcome back to the top 20 most disappointing games of 2016 countdown. If you haven't seen the other parts yet, be sure to check the video.
Yeah, what's that different lolcow that I can check out? What is gonna blow my mind? Just say the name of it in chat and maybe I can go look it up after this.
Description where I'll put a link.
Yeah, dude, shut up. What's the game?
Video game.
Mutants in Manhattan. Oh yeah, it's a Ninja Turtles game people didn't like. I remember as a kid we used to go to like PC video game places where the fuck is that called even? Anyways, it's like an arcade but with PCs, and we used to play like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles games. It was very fun. So Umbrella Corps is the second game. It's a Resident Evil inspired sort of Call of Duty clone that everybody hated and was terrible because it's terrible. And none of it was good. Nothing about it is good. So let's see if he's going to be super salty about it.
Immediately after one day, the entire game broke down when people found the insanely abusable things in the game, including an insta-kill melee attack that lunged through rooms, enemies, and teleported people through any kind of danger to instantly stab the opponent in the head with little to no effort.
Yeah, this Angry Joe cried about this a lot as well, because, I mean, it's a shitty game.
The entire game diluted from an interesting third-person shooter with monsters to a game where you run around with a little axe hook and you stab everyone in the head because the game's a broken piece of crap. What a shame. What a piece of shit. It really was a shameless cash-in. The semi-sequel / reboot to the Mirror's Edge franchise to finally be released in 2016. Sadly, it wasn't worth the wait. This game took the franchise into an open-world environment, taking the free-flowing parkour gameplay and combat from the original game and adding in 30+ hours of boring, repetitive, and utterly meaningless side content, including fetch quests, time trials, and all those kind of boring things that other open world games have done in the past. There was absolutely no originality put into this game. In fact, the story itself could be rushed through in 5 to 8 hours and not needing any of the experience points or abilities unlocked doing the side content, making it absolutely and completely worthless. In addition, because the game went open world, it meant that it had all the bugs, glitches, physics problems, and everything that happens and comes with an open world game, making the game feel incredibly unpolished, unlike the original game. Of course, there's also the ridiculously wonky combat, where every time you kick someone, they go completely paralyzed like a wet noodle, leading to hilarious things that obviously were not intended by the game developers. And then to add insult to injury, once you finally beat the game literally tells you at the end Oops, nothing that you did during this game mattered because nothing changed, but hopefully you'll buy the sequel when we'll get to see if anything that happens in the future. It's a complete and utter ripoff, a game that should not have existed unless they were actually going to put some effort into it. Unfortunately, it looked like they took the easy way out, instead cramming in tons of repetitive and meaningless side content to claim that they had a game longer than 5 to 8 hours. It was a blatant lie, it was an underwhelming fail, and Mirror's Edge Catalyst ultimately is just going to be a forgotten footnote in gaming history. Number 7.
Oh, and you can hear the click of the mouse because that's DSP.
The Last Guardian.
The Last Guardian.
Game on this countdown that we can chalk up to being stuck in development hell. The Last Guardian was a Team Ico exclusive game.
Hey, it's Team Ico.
A system seller for the PS3, but ended up not being released until the fall of 2016 due to massive amounts of production delays and development horror stories. When it finally was released, it was incredibly underwhelming. The platforming and puzzles were basic and simple. The game had absolutely no replayability because there's no collectibles or secrets or hidden anything in the game. The game can be beaten in an underwhelming 10 hours for a full-priced retail release. The graphics performed horribly on the PlayStation 4 with a frame rate that chugged below 30 frames per second many different times of the game. And ultimately, the game just feels dated. If this game had come out during the PS3 era before we had played...
By the way, now I can kind of let the genie out the bottle since it's been announced on Twitter. Today, we're going to be doing a recap on the That Being Said channel about KOGaming. So you watching this right now, you're actually doing research with me so we can figure out if this channel is good or not. And then we're going to talk about it with ALT Insider and maybe Steve if he wants to come on. So we're going to see, it's going to be very fun. We're going to discuss this amazing channel, how we ended up here, and how it ended. So I guess I need to kind of figure out how it ended, because I don't really know.
Games with better
Let me assume it didn't make money.
Graphics, better puzzles, and better platforming, then maybe we all would have been blown away. But the sad fact is the only...
Yeah, Sam's been sick recently, so he did put a lot of effort the other day to do the message show with us, because that takes a lot of effort to hook up everything, because we're 4 people and he has to set up everything in OBS, and he's the only guy who can do it like the way we usually do it, and he put in a lot of effort to do it. So big up Sam, but he's been sick for the last week or so. So yeah, when he's ready to come back, he will.
Real thing that this game has going for it is the emotional connection between the protagonist and the creature. And even then, as your trust level grows throughout the game, sometimes the creature won't even listen to you, leading to a massive amount of frustration as you point repeatedly in the direction you want to go, and the damn thing just stands there laughing at you, sometimes even turning around and going backwards away from the way you want to progress. It really is annoying and frustrating. And some people have defended this game saying, but there's emotional connection and that's a really awesome experience, or oh, the creature doesn't listen to you all the time because an animal in real life doesn't listen to you all the time, right? Listen, the bottom line is there have been other video games with emotional connections between the development cycle of this game that have done it better, and those games have surpassed what this game was trying to do. And sorry, a game with unresponsive controls, whether they're intentional or not, is still a game with unresponsive controls that are incredibly annoying.
Yeah, that's not, it's not a good idea. It's not a good idea. They did try though. It was an ambitious effort. I would prefer games like this to come out and flop than that risk to never be taken, because risks are good, but they don't always pay off.
Would have probably been an amazing, breathtaking game if it actually had been released during the PS3 era, but been there, done that. We've seen games with better graphics, better controls, better platforming, better puzzles, and pretty much everything in this game done better already. Too little, too damn late.
But that's really fucking weird, because it assumes like, if you can't beat something, then don't release a game like that. But it makes no sense though, because this is like this video in particular, the most disappointing games of 2016. People have made videos about exactly this that are much better in every single way than this. Then why did DSP release a video like this? There's videos that have compiled all the worst games of 2016 that have better editing and better character, better narration, better background music that's not repetitive for all of the videos, better thumbnails, better titles. Then why bother? It makes no sense. It's a point that never really worked.
Number 6, Ghostbusters. If you thought that the modern era reboot of the classic...
Oh yeah, we're gonna give Sam a pill and leave him where we found him. And we're gonna wake him up to set up the stream. Hey, wake up, honey. Wake up, Sam. We have a that being said to make. Go and set it up, please.
Franchise that came out in this summer of 2016 in movie form was the worst possible thing. You didn't play the video game tie-in. Not only was this game sold for a full $60.
Well, no, I wouldn't say this is a Donkey clone because the format is just different because Donkey does stuff a lot differently. There are Donkey clones out there, but he's, if anything, is like an Angry Joe clone, basically. Basically an Angry Joe clone. Because Angry Joe does that same shit. Nowadays, his videos are worse because his videos have become just stream clips of him just yelling and playing the game on Twitch. And I don't like these. I prefer when he was just taking his time to discuss a game without clips of the streams. But this is more or less what the Angry Joe videos used to be, but better made. Because he used to have green screen, even like starting off from like, I don't know, maybe 2013, 2014, he used to have a green screen, he used to have like good quality of stuff. So that's why he grew a lot and DSP was left in the dust. So I guess this is the Ghostbusters game from 2016 that is a movie tie-in that it was bad. So moving on to the last one. Is there a last one? Of course, now it's going to be hard to find. KOGaming, most disappointing shit of 2016. Part 4? Is this still available? Can I find it? Yes, it is. The conclusion.
Welcome back to the...
Oh, Angry Joe still has the skits. They still exist, and they are kind of endearing, I would say. They're not funny to me. They're not very well produced, but they're clever sometimes, and they're interesting, and they're fun.
Top 20 most disappointing games of 2016.
I definitely most of the time skip them because they don't interest me, but when they're kind of interesting, when I let it play in the background, it's never always terrible.
Another game.
And yeah, that thumbnail was interesting.
Welcome back.
It's him. Well, it's obviously somebody else did it, and it makes no sense, and like the 3D text is really badly made and everything is just bad. But anyways.
Back to the top 20 most disappointing games of 2016 crappiest games of the past year. Without further ado,
let's crappiest fucking games.
Part of 10 years this
Final Fantasy 15.
Final Fantasy 15 was originally supposed to be part of a Final Fantasy 13 trilogy of games.
There was a clip of this game that he played that he got so toxic, so salty. So I'm not surprised to see it on a list like this.
Until the game was delayed so many times that idea was completely scrapped, and this game was started and rebooted from the ground up just a few years ago. Final Fantasy 15 in its own right is a good game, and because it's on this countdown, I don't want people to think that it's terrible. But boy, did it have a long list of shortcomings, including a combat system that was a far departure from anything in the Final Fantasy franchise previously, being far more action-based than anything else, and basically leaving a lot of gamers who love this long-running series kind of in the dust, saying what happened to the gameplay that I used to know and love. A camera that during combat half the time doesn't work, in particular in indoor areas, leading to cheap deaths and easily being overwhelmed by enemies. But ultimately, the worst part of this game is that as you play through the story, you realize it's unfinished. Much like Metal Gear Solid 5 in 2015, Final Fantasy 15's story just rushes along, pulls you out of a fun open world experience, throws you into an incredibly linear one that makes absolutely no sense. There's characters who just appear out of thin air and act like you've known them for a long time. Characters disappear and reappear with absolutely no explanation. Villains that were never explained become big boss baddies and then are never heard from again. The story is incredibly disjointed and confusing. It's obvious to tell that a ton of content was cut out of this game, or just simply put, never finished, and this game was rushed to market. Despite having a 10-year development cycle, the game still feels incredibly unfinished, and that is unacceptable for a game in 2016. So although the game is kind of an entertaining experience, it has so many shortcomings that I feel that for a lot of people, it still ends up being one of the most disappointing games of 2016.
All right.
That's very disappointing.
Very disappointing.
Number 3, Homefront: The Revolution.
How is this number 3 though? How is this number 3? The worst game you've ever played. Of course, No Man's Sky is going to be on this list. And what is number 2? What is number 2? Okay, we're gonna get to it. But you're gonna clickbait a bunch of people. Tell them this is the worst game I've ever played. Get 1 million views, and then put it on number 3. Then put it number 3.
Well, I don't think anyone's going to be surprised to hear this game on my most disappointing games countdown.
Fantastic.
At the time that I reviewed it, I called it the worst game that I had ever played. Homefront: The Revolution is a pathetic mess. Upon launch, the frame rate of this game was so low on consoles that it was impossible to even properly aim and hit enemies, which is pretty bad when the main gameplay component of a first-person shooter is actually shooting things. In addition, it just reeked of being incredibly lazy. The gameplay combat was terrible. The guns were laughable, shooting off fireworks and just silly things. They looked and acted more like toys than anything else. How about the fact that the NPCs in the game are literally identical and the game developers couldn't put in enough time or effort to
this is trash.
From standing next to each other. This game sucks. This is everything bad with modern gaming. Let's have an idea for a game, but instead of actually having the time and effort to put together one that's worth someone's hard-earned dollar, let's just try to rush some generic crap out there, a bunch of repetitive fetch quests, a bunch of repetitive generic side missions to say that the length of the game is longer than it actually is. Let's not actually make the game play at a playable frame rate. Let's just sell, and then fix later. And the bottom line is that Homefront: The Revolution apparently was fixed some month later after release with several different patches and updates that made the game a much more enjoyable experience. But for people who bought it at launch, this game was a stinky piece of crap. It's unacceptable to be selling games that are not functional upon launch, and in this day and age, we're just not going to put up with this kind of crap anymore. Homefront: The Revolution, you suck.
You suck.
Number 2.
Oh no.
No Man's Sky. And you know what? I can't even get through the title of this game without starting.
Right, we already know what this is gonna be. We already know. We've heard this before from 1 million different people.
Base building and some of the core. Most people actually demanded refunds from Steam and other places.
Yeah, it was not finished. It was broken. It was empty. It was lifeless. But it got better. His number 1 though is Street Fighter 5.
Street Fighter 5. Now, I don't know how many of you here know this, but...
Yeah, he did screenshot Wikipedia for the Homefront one to show that they delayed it to turn it into a best-selling title, and then it was bad.
I am a lifelong fan of Street Fighter. My extensive coverage of Street Fighter 4 on YouTube was what got me my initial popularity here and allowed me to do this as a job back in 2010 and 2011. I was a former professional Street Fighter player. I've actually won major tournaments like EVO before. And
He's won EVO. He has won EVO before. That makes it seem like you were number 1 DSP, not number 4. Number 4 doesn't win EVO. Number 1 does.
To play
I've won EVO.
Street Fighter 5.
I've won major tournaments like EVO. They were similar to EVO.
And see what they did with...
And what a fucking bald-faced liar.
Franchise this
year.
What
a fucking liar.
Crushed me. This is a game that I so much wanted to be successful on multiple levels, and sadly it failed on 2 entirely different levels at the same time. Let's talk a little bit about that. First off, at launch, Street Fighter V was released as one of, if not the most bare bones console video game ever created. This game only had online versus, offline versus, and a very basic kind of story mode, and that was it. It didn't have any kind of formal challenges. It didn't have any kind of an in-depth level tutorial or anything for the characters, which is exactly what you would want from a brand new game in the franchise. Hell, it didn't even have online lobbies for multiplayer.
Online lobbies?
Incredibly bare bones. And boy, was there a backlash when in February of 2016, people who had bought Street Fighter 4 and had all of that stuff at launch paid the same amount of retail dollars for this one, only to find out all of that content was sorely lacking. Not everyone buys fighting games for the competitive side, and anyone who wanted to play Street Fighter V and not play it at a competitive tournament level found themselves incredibly underwhelmed during the first few months of its release. Now, in addition, the netcode of Street Fighter V at first was non-functional. The game not only didn't have much single-player content, but then when you actually went to play it online for the first couple of weeks, it was impossible to get matches matches. The connections were absolutely terrible.
You know what people would do in a video like this when they want to criticize a game so hard? They would put clips of what they're talking about and not clips of winning against some scrubs. That's what they would do. So if you want to talk about lag, show me a clip of lag so I can be convinced.
You would disconnect. It was an absolute laughingstock, and there were even rumors across the internet that Capcom had only hired one person to actually work on the netcode of the game, which is unfathomable for a game that's supposed to be a AAA game release.
What if that person was Albert Einstein? What if that was true? He would make the netcode work. What if it was Stephen Hawking?
In Capcom's
Rip Stephen Hawking.
Year passed by, they actually did add in a lot of additional content to the game that was missing, including a full-on story mode, challenges for each characters, and the like. And yes, they did actually get the netcode under control, and as of right now, the netcode in online play of Street Fighter V isn't so bad. So that's a good thing.
It's a trash video.
The problem was that as time went on, the competitive aspect of Street Fighter V started to be brought into question, because people started to realize it seemed like in this game, you just simply couldn't react to things as fast as you could in previous Street Fighter games. For example, if someone's jumping at you, why is it harder in Street Fighter V to hit them with an anti-air move than in Eddie's Street Fighter previously before this one? So people sat down and studied the game and found out that Street Fighter V actually has 8 frames of input delay. That's more than any other competitive fighting game ever before in the Street Fighter franchise. To give you some perspective, what that means is when you push a button, it takes longer in Street Fighter V for that input to actually take effect in the game than any other Street Fighter beforehand. So if you see someone jumping at you, you push the button to hit them, it might not come out in time to knock them out of the air, and that's ridiculous. Street Fighter and any competitive game is based upon both a game plan, but also reactions to that game plan. You need to be able to try to counter and counterattack and do things in response to an opponent's attempted attack on you. And if there's more delay in this game than any other game, it basically means it's the worst competitive fighting game ever in modern memory. It's a joke.
It's the worst ever in modern memory. This dude speaks in clickbait. He talks in clickbait. He just wants to make bold statements and then kind of walk it back and make it seem less extreme than what he said. Is the worst one ever in modern memory, by the way.
Now, some people kind of defended this and said, oh, but maybe Capcom intended it. But then later on in the year, Capcom released the input of frame delay to only 6.5 frames. So obviously, if they're reducing it, it means that it wasn't intended to begin with, and people don't want it.
What? How does this make sense? People update stuff based on feedback that they get. So this is like, I don't know what it's like. It's like something stupid.
It's hilarious because so many people defended this game over the course of the year, and after I played it with all the different DLC characters and such, ultimately, even though I was a longtime Street Fighter fan and someone, like I said, who's been in tournaments and played every major competitive Street Fighter game, I just stopped playing it. I can't stomach it. I know it's the worst made Street Fighter ever. It's an absolute laughingstock that we can try to justify a game that has this much input delay. And I simply put, am not going to play it anymore. I wish more people would listen to me and understand that when you support a practice like this, a game that was inferiorly designed, and you keep putting money into it, and you keep buying DLC characters, and you keep buying outfits, and you keep going to tournaments, and you keep watching live streams of it, and you support this kind of a half-finished, half-assed piece of crap fighting game, Capcom will never learn. As consumers and as gamers, whether or not you love Street Fighter or hate it, when you know that a game is worse than anything else ever made, you need to stand up collectively and say we will not support this practice moving forward. The sad fact is the competitive fighting game community is desperate because they're afraid that if Street Fighter...
Oh, he's calling everybody out. Everybody is on the chopping block.
...dies out because it is an inferior game, what's going to happen to their community that got built up from this hardcore fan base originating from the resurgence of interest in fighting games back with the release of Street Fighter 4. They're so terrified that their little piece of subculture is going to disappear if Street Fighter 5 fails that they'd be more willing to hide the problems with the game and continuously support it and throw more money at Capcom constantly than say, no, we're going to boycott it because we know it's a piece of shit. That is sad and pathetic. And the bottom line is, what is to stop Capcom from releasing Street Fighter 6 with even more frames of input delay because they realize that people just bought the fucking game anyway anyway and ignored it with Street Fighter V. It really is a sad state. At least for me, I'm the kind of person, I'm more diversified. I'm not so reliant on fighting games and fighting game coverage that I'm forced to play and continuously support a game that I know is subpar like Street Fighter V. Sadly, not everyone is in the same boat as me, but all I can say is this. Street Fighter V by far was the most disappointing game not only of 2016, but of recent memory for me. Not ever have I had such a beloved franchise that used to be the top of the mountain, the king of the crop. Street Fighter was the quintessential top dog of competitive fighting games, and because of an inept game development team that listened to all the wrong people, made all the wrong choices, and ended up releasing a subpar, input delayed, bare bones game, this franchise has effectively been run into the ground outside of the hardcore fans. That's a shame. Hopefully, at some point in the future, they'll figure out how they screwed up and turn it around. But for now, Street Fighter V is a huge stinking dud.
It's a huge stinking dud. And that's it. Enjoy this wall of text. Let's see the other videos on this channel because it's hot as fuck. Let's see how it all ended. Is there a farewell video or he just abandons everything? Oh, he just abandons everything. He literally did. He made a 4-minute video saying DSP Gaming is back. Fuck this channel, I'm out.
Hello everyone.
He didn't even turn on the camera for this one because he didn't care.
Phil here, and it's actually pretty late night. I'm making a very quick video here for those of you who have been watching my videos on KOGaming for the past 3 weeks. I want to say thank you to everyone who, in the interim of time when DSP Gaming was demonetized erroneously by Google.
Erroneously?
Because they fixed the problem. It was completely on their end and had nothing to do with me or anything I had done. But anyway, for those of you that came over here, who subscribed to this channel, and who watched the video content on this channel for the last few weeks, I want to say thank you very much for your dedication. Really awesome to know that even at a time when the normal channel was under a lot of problems, that you guys would still move over to a new channel if need be to watch my stuff. Makes me feel great. And I know that it was not easy. It was a pain in the ass to have to come here every day instead of DSP Gaming and going back and forth between the two to find out what was going on. The good news is, seems like we are good to go on DSP Gaming. It was a few days ago I got full monetization back on my channel, and so since then, the past couple of days, I've been uploading exclusively to DSP Gaming, including Night in the Woods videos as well as H1Z1. Today I uploaded both the premiere of my We Happy Few playthrough, which ended up being quite good near the end.
Right. I don't know why he keeps saying that this channel was demonetized, because if you look up, let's go on PIGGY for a second. And look up, I don't even know how to make it, KOGaming? KOGaming, is this even gonna come up with something? YouTube like KOGaming, let's see what this is. This is pretty recent. Okay, it diversified itself.
KOGaming, okay?
KOGaming.
Diversified itself from my old moniker of the King of Hate and DSP and all of that shit. It was completely different. The style of content with delivery was different. The channel was successful. The channel took off. I had a video that had over 1 million views. I had other videos that were getting hundreds of thousands of views. I noticed whenever I made a negative video, it caught on way more than positive videos.
It's always like that.
Negative videos all the time, but whenever I made one, it got, you know, a lot of traction. The video made me good money. Excuse me, the channel made me good money. And that was my plan. That in 2017, I was going to continue to diversify. I was going to have a Let's Play channel. I was going to have the edited channel. I was going to have vlogging. YouTube demonetized the channel for no reason.
That kind of sounds like bullshit to me. Since up until this point, when he said goodbye everybody, and he played 469 parts of fucking Persona, it seems like it was okay, since he kept spamming stuff. There's no video about this being demonetized, unless it's on a different channel somewhere. Now I have to look this up because it's very hard to trust this guy when he's constantly contradicting himself. So let's see, demonetized. Let's see, KOGaming, demonetized. Alert, huge changes to KOGaming. And let's see the description for this one. I'm not sitting through 17 minutes of an alert video. YouTube's automated demonetization policies. Oh yeah, KOGaming has been hit with a massive amount of videos I can no longer make profit of. Therefore, I need to make changes to keep things afloat.
Okay, what is up, everyone?
What is up, everyone?
I am Phil.
I am Phil.
And content creator of KOGaming here on YouTube. And this is the first time I'm actually ever appearing face-to-face with you in a video. As you know, all the videos that have been on here since the channel opened in early 2016 have been edited style, where it's me doing voiceovers.
Alright.
From its original idea and concept. Pretty much against my will. I don't want to make these changes. These are changes that I never foresaw I would have to make. Sadly, these are things that are all a result of YouTube basically instituting new policies in 2017 that, in my opinion, are incredibly anti-content creator. I don't honestly think that these policies benefit anyone, because anytime that you have something that's 100% dictated by an automated system or algorithm and there is no subjective look or judgment based on anything going on, you're going to have tons of mistakes, which is what's happening right now on YouTube. But anyway, before we get to that, allow me to explain to you what the purpose of this channel originally was supposed to be and how it's changing, all right?
Oh, so this is, yeah, the huge changes to KOGaming is basically him turning it into a landfill. So he would upload all his garbage on this channel. That's basically the huge changes.
This channel, KOGaming, was supposed to be a way for me to differentiate myself from my other YouTube channels. That's so different from the edited style content that I wanted to put out on a channel like this that I took a look at the channel in 2016. There were many times, many videos that I put out, including my reviews for Homefront the Revel videos, and liked them. You know, now there were many other videos that I put on the channel in 2016 that didn't perform like that, but overall I was very pleased with how this channel was performing, and I had no plans to change up the way this channel was going to work in 2017. For 2017, I pretty much did exactly the same thing that I did in 2016, edited style videos, right?
Edited style.
But also I added in a new product called the KOGaming Community Submission, where the viewers could actually submit montages and other kinds of edited videos to the channel.
A new product.
I would showcase them on here, and there are many of those that, you know, I've uploaded over the course of the first few months of 2017 as well. Now, admittedly, this channel has been absolutely dead since late May of 2017, and there's a reason for it. This channel is to cover reviews, countdowns, and the like. For the summer of 2017, there were almost no new games whatsoever with vlogs on my vlogging channel or doing these kind of people want game reviews. However, sadly, if I am going to continue to make game reviews at all, I have to change the format which I make them. Sadly, the format of me doing highly edited game reviews with the gameplay and me with the voiceover over the gameplay that's displaying what I'm talking about and having, you know, text and titles and everything in the videos is going to have to go away, and I'm going to have to go way back to my old school style of review that I used to do from like 2009 all the way through like 2015. That's what I have to go back to now. Now, what kind of style of review is it? Just like I'm doing now, just me sitting here talking to the camera, sharing my thoughts with you about a video game. Now you might say, but Phil, why? That's a major step back. You've been doing these highly edited videos on KOGaming. We love that style of video. Why would you take, you know, 10 steps back from what you used to do and what's popular on YouTube right now? Folks, the answer is very simple. It's a sad answer that I really don't want to kind of... It's almost like I feel like I'm throwing in the towel, right? Like I'm giving up on making edited style videos because I liked doing it and I was successful at doing it in 2016 for the most part. You know, having those videos go viral was awesome.
Okay, DSP, tell us already that they're not making enough money. Tell us they're not making enough money already.
Channel was a pretty...
In the most roundabout way you can think about it.
Source of income for me last year. And now, because of what YouTube has done, it's not. In fact, just to give you some perspective,
right?
There were
literally
last year where this channel actually brought in a decent amount of money for me that it was supplemental income amongst all the other things that I do. This year, not so much. This year, ever since YouTube messed around earlier this year with ads, which we're going to talk about in a moment, this channel at the most, I think, ever brought me $200 in 1 month. And for the amount of time and effort that it takes to put out edited style videos,
oh yeah,
worth it.
A massive amount of time and effort.
Be doing more raw playthroughs, be doing more vlogging, be doing other things that I enjoy doing just as much as the edited style videos, and being, you know, basically being a better business decision and being able to keep doing this as a job. This channel just isn't self-sufficient anymore to put in the amount of time and effort. Just to give you a rough idea, to do an edited style game review with all that gameplay footage and everything.
Oh, let's see how long it took him to make a review like this. Like you just saw what videos we're watching.
It roughly takes me just a few hours, like 2 to 3 hours, just to do the voiceovers for it.
Really?
Then I have to find in this, you know, many parts of a playthrough all the corresponding video footage to match up to what I said in you know, the spoken word captured dialogue for the voiceovers.
Right.
Then I have to edit it all together, encode it. I mean, we're talking upwards of anywhere, at a minimum, usually 3 hours for like a real quick review. Maximum, I think the most I ever spent on a review was around 8 hours.
8 hours. 8 hours for one of these terrible fucking videos with the text on top and the voiceover that doesn't match what's on screen.
Hours of
8 hours.
And the videos now are...
No, he said encode it, which is basically render it, not code the actual thing. But yeah, to wait for the computer to render it, it takes longer.
Literally.
Because it's like he's encoding stuff, but he's not.
Making just a few dollars each, if that. Because of what YouTube has been doing with all of this demonetization.
So yes, this is the whole point of the video, is this doesn't make that much money, so I'm gonna be lazy now.
And shit, which we're about to talk about right now. So you might be saying, well, demonetization, what do you mean? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm about to show you something. I did not edit this or doctor this in any way. This is what happens when I go into the KOGaming video manager, and there's a little drop down that YouTube added last month that says, look at videos that have limited or no ads on them. So here you go, folks. Yeah, so this is just the most recent videos, and as you can see, you know, I usually uploaded what, maybe 1 to 2 videos a week here on KOGaming, and these videos are spanning all the way back to about February. So right here you can...
I'm kind of confused though. Why? Why did this happen? Why? What made it like that?
See, just the first few.
It just randomly gets limited monetization on an edited video.
And
pretty confusing.
They're back a few months. Completely demonetized. Now, as you can see, if you actually look at these videos, there's no commonality between them at all. It's not like, oh, it was just horror video games that got demonetized, or oh, it was games where Phil put swear words in the title, or it was like adult-oriented content. I mean, you've got a wide mix of stuff. You've got a melee combat game with For Honor. You've got a few Resident Evils. You got Outlast. You got Neo. And then the fan-submitted montages, right? That are just raw gameplay, not even like anything that you would think would be, I don't know. The problem right now of what's going on with YouTube's demonetization policies and the fact that they have this automated algorithm running is that no one can actually figure out why certain videos are getting flagged and being demonetized while others are not. No one can figure this out, and YouTube is not being transparent at all. They will not specify the specific criteria of why a video got flagged. The other problem is YouTube just changed this policy within the last few weeks, because when I found out that these KOGaming videos were all demonetized, I tried to appeal. I tried to go back and do an appeal to get them monetized again, and a message now comes up and says, well, if this video did not receive 1,000 new views in the last week, we will not review it, because we're getting too many submissions.
I mean, yeah,
that want to appeal. Therefore, only if it's like a new video that got 1,000.
Yeah, if nobody gave a fuck about the video, they're not gonna care. DSP, this is YouTube.
Videos in the last.
Why do you even expect them to care about this?
1,000 views in the last week. Will we review it? Anything else, you're screwed. You can never get ads on it again. So literally, folks, every video you see here that was demonetized, I can never get ads on them ever again, and there's no process for me to even appeal it.
Right, but what he's trying to tell you in this video right here,
that was my plan. That in 2017, I was going to continue to diversify. I was going to have a Let's Play channel. I was going to have the edited channel. I was going to have vlogging. YouTube demonetized the channel for no reason.
YouTube demonetized the channel. This doesn't look like demonetized to me. It looks like limited monetization on some arbitrary videos, which is not like YouTube taking away your monetization. As you could see in the previous videos, in this stupid channel, I'm done watching this video, plus this nothing worth value. As you can see in these previous videos, when he turned it into a landfill, he was uploading them here because obviously he could get them monetized because it's some raw gameplay trash. So this channel is not demonetized, as he likes to say. Nowadays, this is the narrative, the DSP narrative. Oh yeah, YouTube fucking screwed me. And then he continued to spam videos on this, because it obviously kind of worked. And then he got his main channel back, and then he abandoned this channel. So this channel is dead. It's a zombie at this point. And I would wonder, it probably would make any amount of views nowadays, because they're bad. As they're bad videos, it probably don't show up, and they're outdated, obviously.
Here's to Brady beating DSP's Seahawks in Munich tomorrow.
Brady beating the Seahawks in Munich. Hey, let's see if it's gonna happen. Brady is pretty old at this point, but he might still got it in him, bro. Because I mean, LeBron is kind of getting washed at this point. The Lakers are 2-10, so yeah, very, very suspicious. The Hateful Truth rebooted. Let's watch some of those Hateful Truth rebooted trash. Worst things about modern gaming. I'm probably gonna end up agreeing with a lot of these points. They're pretty general points. Let's see the playlist. Playlists should have the Hateful Truth in them, if they're not too full of generic trash. And there's a playlist for DSP Gaming emergency vlogs. And of course, one of them is this classic vlog that is an hour and 20 minutes long. An actual, like, a feature-length movie that has the thumbnail that is this. It's an iconic thumbnail. I fucking love this thumbnail. The A pose with the hands on the head, phenomenal. And then we get a tech support stream. The brainstorming stream. Let's see what this is about.
What's up, everyone? I am
What's up,
back.
everyone? It's the shaky chair.
First of all, those of you that were watching on YouTube, the video actually stopped recording, which sucks. I know you guys don't know. So to summarize what's going on really quick, I've lost the ability to put ads on dspgaming. It's uncertain whether or not I'm going to get them back. I'm waiting on YouTube to get back to me on what the hell I can possibly do to get ads back on dspgaming. But if I can't get ads back on dspgaming, I'm pretty screwed because it was always a significant amount of my income.
We heard this like 15 times today. Okay, so this is the situation. This is when he lost his ads on dspgaming. Then he got them back, obviously, because that channel is still alive. Game of the Year Awards 2016, most disappointing games, rants, mini reviews, and of course the Hateful Truth. His main series is actually the last playlist because it's great. Agents of Mayhem, and this is on KOGaming. Yes, okay. Let's see some game that I've actually played that I can say something about. Outlast 2, Persona 5 review in progress. My thoughts up to 7.7. Galactic Disappointment, Mass Effect Andromeda. I'm not surprised that he hated that one. Everybody did. Neo, better than Dark Souls. Let's see some of his Neo gameplay, because I started playing it. That shit is tough, man. That game is tough as hell. Tough as hell. Let's see how he plays it, because I kind of at least know the mechanics. So if he's just playing on the mid stance, I can call him out and say, Phil, you're just playing on the mid stance. Why are you giving it a terrible review?
What is going on, everyone? Phil here, and welcome to KOGaming. Just recently, after
welcome to KOGaming.
2.5 weeks and over 40 hours of gameplay, I managed to complete my playthrough of Neo, the hack and slash, gruelingly difficult action-adventure RPG hybrid game from Team Ninja that has a lot of similarities to games from Software as of late, including both the Dark Souls and Bloodborne franchises. There's a lot to say about this game. Tons of similarities to the From Software dynasty, but also a lot of things that set
some great gameplay. This clip that he put for no reason was absolutely terrible. He didn't do anything in that clip.
Line of games and actually make it kind of its own special IP and not just kind of a wannabe clone similar to, say, Lords of the Fallen from a few years back. I really enjoyed Neo, although I do feel that there were some things that could have been improved. Overall, this is probably one of the most enjoyable experiences I've had. Keep in mind, I've been playing the Dark Souls games a lot recently, and therefore I'm used to the gruelingly difficult kind of gameplay that you get with this style of game. It might not be everyone's cup of tea, but it certainly does a lot of things right, which I'd like to outline in this review, so let's get started. First,
also, something I haven't noticed him do so far is that you have a way of regaining stamina in this game. If you press R1 when it's the right time, you can actually get some of your stamina back. So he's not using either the stance system, which is pretty powerful and unlocks a lot of new attacks for you, and he's not using the other signature system, which is regaining the stamina.
Talk about the direct similarities between Neo and the Dark Souls
the key pulls
Bloodborne franchises, so that if you are aware of those previous franchises and you're interested in jumping into this new game, you'll understand why so many people are comparing the two. First off, gruelingly difficult. Every single enemy in Neo can kill you with just a couple hits. Even near the end of the game when you have higher level armor, you're just going to be taking a ton of damage, and one wrong step, especially if you're not paying attention or if you fall for a beginner's trap, instant death, and or booby trap, could lead you to death and having to start back at a checkpoint. So definitely one of the major reasons
this gameplay as well. Just poke, dodge, just poke again, dodge.
To the From Software
very nice
is because of the
elite gameplay.
Big epic style boss fights. There's tons of them in Neo, and they're incredibly similar to those in Bloodborne and Dark Souls, including the same style energy bar and the like. Also, you're going to be collecting Amrita, which you use to level up at shrines. The shrines serve as your checkpoints, similar to how souls and or the blood of the Dark Souls and Bloodborne franchises are the experience points you use to level up, either at a bonfire or a lantern or whatever you want to call it. You see the direct comparison here. It's incredibly similar in that regard. You can tell that the designers of Neo were fans of those franchises and were definitely trying to make a game inspired by that. The combat can be actually played incredibly similar to that franchise as well. depending on what weapon and class you actually pick in the game, you could either be slower and more lumbering with weapons such as spears, or you could be more fast with weapons like katanas or dual swords or even whipping chains. There's a lot of weapon variety in the game that kind of lends itself again to, say, in Dark Souls, when you could either do sword or shield, or you could go for a more quicker, more agile kind of a loadout, or even in Bloodborne where you really couldn't block and it was more about dodging around. A lot of the different builds you can do in Neo are very similar to that style of gameplay, where you'll probably never want to block anything and instead use your really fast capabilities and light armor to dodge around the enemies. So there's a ton of similarities directly between the two games. I definitely get that people would say, wow, they seem like they're almost the same. But there are actually a ton of differences.
What are they, Phil? What are they?
Almost in a lot of ways feel like vast improvements to the games from the From Software development team. Like they played those games and said, well, how could we take that and make it better? And let's talk a little bit about those differences. First of all, obviously, the whole cultural design of Neo is based around Japanese culture.
This is a great clip, man. What a great fucking clip. Why put this in the review? Why? Because it was easy. Because he found it and was like, well, I guess I'm going to put this in.
Guns, samurai, and yokai, Japanese-style mystical demons coming from their spirituality. There's a lot of stuff in this game that's definitely into that culture, unlike Dark Souls and Bloodborne,
Tell
which
us
are
what
more...
happened during the Neo Alpha, Phil.
The Neo Alpha? What is this lore? I need to look it up.
Gothic kind of...
Big ups for a super chat, J-Dog. Let me look up the Neo Alpha. Oh, was this when he jerked off? Wait. DSP Neo Alpha. This was when, yeah, this was when he had the incident, right? Right, because yeah.
Appeal or medieval kind of appeal. This one is definitely more Japanese centric. The combat of the game, yes, has a lot of similarities to the From Software games, but because of the addition...
I also can't believe, it's actually beyond me to think that this dude used to have a pre-stream when the PlayStation music would just constantly play in the background. And it just loops on and on and on for like 40 minutes. And you have to listen to it because this dude just left his PS4 on. It's terrible.
High, low, and mid stances definitely mixes it up in a lot of ways. So instead of just having one kind of attack pattern per what weapon you're using, you actually have 3 separate stances that you can change between on the fly. This allows you to have either stronger, more damaging, and more stamina reducing attacks that are a little bit slower, mid-range attacks that are a little bit quicker, or the low-range attacks which are a lot faster but usually don't deal a lot of damage.
And this is, get a load of this clip. This is literally the tutorial when they teach you how the stances work. Because he couldn't find a clip of him using anything other than the mid stance. So you're getting a tutorial segment.
Maybe good for dodging and the like. So having 3 completely different combat styles per weapon class in the game adds a ton of variety to it that is not necessarily capable in Dark Souls. Although one thing I should say, there are no shields in Neo. However, certain weapons like the spear can be used in the end game, and especially if you're wearing heavy armor sets, because yes, there is equipment, weight, and the like, just like the From Software franchise. With a heavy armor set, you can tank it out and block, while if you don't have heavy armor, you're going to take a ton of damage per hit, so you're going to want to be dodging around more like the lighter classes in the From Software games. So a lot of things that are a little...
You can also block all of the physical damage using the block button though, so you kind of don't need a shield.
Bit different there from the actual, Dark Souls and the like, but it's cool that you have the different stances and that the combat can actually be free-flowing. However, it should be noted that the stances really, in all honesty, are completely optional, because in my experience, when I was playing I didn't really use all the stances. I really preferred using mid-stance, and then every once in a while, for an exception, if mid-stance wasn't working, I would switch it out. But for the most part, I was able to beat this entire game only using mid-stance with a spear, which says something about the game. Yeah, it has complexity, but the complexity isn't necessarily necessary in order to succeed. In addition, there's both
you can just face tank everything, just like the DSP way.
Ninjutsu and Onmyo magic. Ninjutsu is using different kinds of ninja tools in order to help with combat, including throwing little kunai daggers and projectiles, throwing caltrops on the ground to slow down enemies. In all honesty, I almost never used these.
Of course.
Onmyo magic, you seem to be a lot better. For example, there's things that could buff your defense. There's magic spells that could add elemental damage to your weapons. Again, all of the From Software games where you could do that.
All of the From Software games.
That also also makes its appearance here in Neo. But also, one of the best spells in the game is the Sloth spell.
A sloth spell.
Until near the end of my run in the game. By casting the sloth spell on an enemy, it slows them down significantly, allowing you to wail on them and basically wide open so that you can destroy them. It's a really effective way to kill an enemy, especially if you're having a tough time with a certain boss. Use the sloth spell, slow them down, take advantage of their weaknesses, and you'll find that that fight is a lot easier. So, yeah, magic, ninjutsu, 3 different stances makes it a hell of a lot more complex than anything From Software has put out combat-wise so far. Another gameplay mechanic a little bit different from Dark Souls and Bloodborne is the key system, which in effect is your stamina bar in this game. As you attack in Neo, you're going to have this bar that's going to deplete.
Yo, he used it once. He used the key pulse once.
Depleted, your character will be frozen in place and completely vulnerable for a few seconds. So your goal is to attack and dash around, but never fully deplete your stamina bar so that you can actually continue to fight effectively and not get sucker punched and hit instantly for a kill. Now, there is a cool mechanic in this game by which you can recharge your key by pressing a bumper button after a few hits. If your key is reduced, you're going to see that it's going to slowly recharge, and if you tap the button with timing, it'll actually automatically recharge.
Yo, he did it again.
Portion of that key meter for you.
Gotta give him credit. He actually put an appropriate clip for once. I don't know how he found it, but he did it, man. Because in none of the other clips, he was recharging his key.
So not only are you constantly attacking and dodging, but you're also micromanaging this key meter, making the combat of Neo way more complex, in my opinion, than that's been in games like Dark Souls or anything before, and that's a really cool thing. Now, another new mechanic is this yokai fog or mist. I believe they call it the yokai realm, where when you're fighting certain
Hey, big ups for the sub, Calmac.
in this game, they're going to have this cloud of darkness around them, and when you're inside of that, your key is going to regenerate incredibly slowly, and in some cases, it won't regenerate at all. So what you need to do is either step outside of that ring of yokai realm, or if you do a perfectly timed button press when your key is regenerating, you can actually negate that completely and clear it up from the ground, allowing you to fight normally and not have to worry about your key not regenerating. So again, another cool addition.
This is what kind of fucking pissed me off about his reviews, is just explaining every single mechanic. It's like, I understand why you would want to do that, but taking 10 minutes to explain every single mechanic in the game is just not very productive.
Mechanic that was,
and it's like everybody can do that. You just play a video game and then you explain what you see on the screen and how the game plays.
Souls franchise that is in
it's not much of a review.
That's really fun and actually adds a lot of new kind of mechanics and gameplay to the game.
Yeah, and then he compares it to other games. It's just like, come on, dude. This is like the definition of a mediocre review.
Now, one major way Neo differs from the From Software franchise is the mission structure. While From Software strives to make their games interconnected worlds where you can walk from one end of the world to the other at any time, that's not the case with Neo. You're going to have several disjointed missions that are accessible via a world map structure. Now, there's different kinds of missions. There's main story missions, which put you in a certain setting, a certain stage, by which you're going to run around and go to shrines. You're going to be fighting your way through hordes of enemies and booby traps. You're going to be picking up loot along the way, which is also another major thing in this game, loot dropping.
Yeah, we keep explaining.
You're going to
keep
be
explaining what everything is about.
You're going to be opening up shortcuts and checkpoints, and then finally you're going to be completing those stages. At the end of the stage, you'll have the opportunity to level up and do many other things that we'll talk about in a moment. But then it returns you back to the world map. Now there's also sub-stories, which are basically side missions that are completely optional and you don't need to do. So that's a definite difference from the From Software games, where everything is kind of in there mostly for world exploration and or to beat the game. In this case, these are completely optional missions. In some cases, these missions are unique, and you'll have a unique kind of boss fight or duel against a character from the game that if you win, you'll earn maybe a rare item or a crafting component that you'll need to make something good for your character later on, or maybe it'll give you a lot of leveling experience and the like. Or in some cases, these missions aren't very unique and you're returning back to a map that maybe you've already seen from a story mission, or maybe there is a map that's only for submissions that you'll return to several times. You'll be fighting through kind of generic waves of enemies, and every once in a while these will have a boss in them, but for the most part, the sub-stories are kind of just there to be there and to give you an extra opportunity.
You could have, like, it's almost like he's trying to pad this out on purpose, because he could have explained what the side missions are in like 30 seconds, And he just keeps going on and on. They're optional, which means you don't have to do them. And when I say you don't have to do them, it means that if you want to do something else, you can do something else. And some of them are unique. And by unique, I mean that they're original and they're interesting. And some of them are not unique. And I mean, when they're not unique, then you go back to a different place that you've been before, and it's not unique and it's not original. He's just kind of talking himself in circles because he didn't structure this review in a proper way to just not repeat himself constantly.
You level up your character and make them more strong. In my case, I chose to do every single sub-story the game had to offer because I really wanted to make sure I wasn't missing out on any kind of a unique duel or a unique fight.
Unique.
And I have to say that they do significantly add to the game, although some of them do feel like blatant padding. And yeah, if you want to talk about blatant padding, there is a third style of mission in Neo called Twilight missions. All these are after you've beaten certain story missions, it's the same exact mission, only now there's more difficult enemies, they do more damage to you, and the bosses have maybe some tweaks to them so they have different attacks and patterns than the original time that you fought them. The only reason to do these stages, again, is to get additional experience and loot, and usually they could drop some unique crafting items that will allow you at a blacksmith to maybe create some of the best weapons and armor in the game. But ultimately, it's just like redoing a stage from start to finish, again, maybe a little bit more difficult than the first time you did it, and yeah, it does feel like repetitive grinding. I honestly only did one Twilight mission the entirety of the game, and never did I ever feel like I was under-leveled or that I wasn't doing enough in order to progress in the game. So just by playing through the main story of the game, you may be dauntingly challenged and feel like maybe you're a little bit under-leveled. If you do some or all of the sub-stories of the game, you're going to get unique loot, you're going to have some pretty epic one-on-one fights that are pretty interesting and definitely notable, but you're also going to have some missions that are kind of repetitive and grinding. If you do all the missions, it's pretty much all repetitive stuff. So there is a mix of content in there.
He said this already like 4 times, man. He said this 4 times. Oh, this might be unique, but this might be grinding and repetitive, but it's not the same, but some of it is unique, and you get unique enemies and unique encounters and unique levels, and some of them are repetitive.
Ultimately, you could probably get upwards of 60 hours of gameplay out of Neo. Myself only doing the main story and the submissions, my playthrough ended up around 40 hours. Now, the loot system in—
Alright, no, I can't. This is one of his worst ones. Like, by far one of the worst ones. He's talking way too fast, he's repeating himself way too much, he's explaining everything in excruciating detail. There's no point. Let's see what we got for, what is this? Resident Evil 7? Nope. Dead Rising 4. All of these are just really boring in concept. More fun in numbers. Watch Dogs 2. I hate that game. Dishonored 2. Titanfall 2. A Giant Without a Place. And we got Battlefield 1 review. The COD Killer. Battlefield 1 is still great. Still great. It's better than 5, and it's definitely better than 2040, whatever that shit was. Then we got Something Less Than Revolutionary. Deus Ex, Mankind Divided. I don't know, man. All of his shit is just so unengaging. It's so uninterested. I don't even know how I can sit through one of these. Operation Raccoon Shitty. It's a great title. Of course, you needed to make it like that. We need to have some... In the thumbnail, he has poop on the screen because he's Phil. What else we got? The Fallout 4 one, I've played it before on stream. I think that one is kind of... It's the penultimate DSP review of a game. Because he explains everything. He says it's a mixed bag. Because this was his... oh, it's only 11 minutes long. Okay, let's give it a shot. Hey, what's up, Sam? How's it going, man?
What's going on, everyone? Phil here on behalf of KOGaming, and welcome to the Hateful Truth Rebooted, my gaming review series where I give you maximum truth and minimum bullshit regarding the latest video game releases. Today I'm going to be talking about Fallout 4, the long-anticipated sequel to the Fallout franchise, which many people have been hyping and waiting for quite some time. Now, I'm fully aware that this game came out over 2 months ago. However, I took the time to do a very complete playthrough of the game, including most of the side content, a lot of free world roaming, and completing all the different possible endings of the game so that I could give you the most complete review possible. Also, I'll be honest, I got caught up a little bit in the holidays and didn't really have a chance to work on this until today, so here we go. Now, I'm a fan of the Fallout series. I fell in love with Fallout 3 back on the Xbox.
Now, I'm a fan of this game. Of course I am.
Vegas, so much to the point that I actually did second playthroughs of them for YouTube. So when Fallout...
And he played Vegas again. He played this again, like, probably last year, I think.
Fallout 4 was released, I was very pleased to see that the series kind of stuck to its roots in a lot of regards. The first-person shooting, the VATS system making a return and pretty much being kind of unchanged from the original games, the fact that the narrative trees in dialogue still exist and you can say different dialogue choices to control situations. You can also use your different abilities through RPG-style leveling, such as speech skills, to unlock different conversation trees and such. There's looting, there's a ton of content, there's open world exploration. Again, a lot of the cool conventions from the original Fallout games are very much present in Fallout 4, and that's a good thing in my opinion. Among those returning factors are a lot of improvements that I feel really helped the game. First of all, the improvement in graphics. And you know, a lot of people complained about Fallout 3 and New Vegas, stating that those games kind of had outdated graphics when they were new. Fallout 4 certainly isn't the cutting edge of next-gen visuals, but at the same time, it definitely improves upon the formula of the previous games and brings it into the modern era.
They still use the same engine, though. Come on.
Like
and also, the terrible text on the screen. I get it. He kind of improved as these series were getting along. He kind of improved it, but terrible stuff.
In the gunplay, in particular, using the first-person shooter gameplay outside of VATS. In the previous Fallout games, this felt really clunky, but in Fallout 4, it almost feels like you're playing any other first-person shooter, no matter what weapon you're using. It's very much welcomed, and it makes the game a lot more
uncumbersome. Oh, bruh.
Fallout 4 almost feels like you're playing any other first-person shooter, no matter what weapon you're using. It's very much welcomed, and it makes the game a lot more uncumbersome when it comes to using weapons really quickly.
We couldn't edit this in post. It had to be uncumbersome.
And not having to constantly go in and out of VATS.
And also, the gunplay is not good, man. The gunplay in Fallout is not good.
To actually score kills,
it's just not
enemies.
It was never about the gunplay, but it's not good. And looks like Starfield is gonna have that same gunplay that is still not good.
In addition, Fallout 4 has the largest number of followers for your cause than any of the previous Fallout games. Although, quite honestly, I don't really think they improved the AI of these followers too much, where constantly they're kind of getting stuck on walls and they don't seem to be following you all the time, only to kind of magically teleport to your position once you enter a doorway or a new instance. But the fact that there are more of them, they have their own personalized stories, many of them have their own companion missions to unlock, adds to the amount of content in the game, and is very well
get this text off the screen. Get it out.
In addition to that, a huge open world with insane amounts of side content, and this is one thing that I definitely have to emphasize about Fallout 4. If you want to get the most out of the game, I strongly recommend that you either use an online wiki or you buy the strategy guide, either or, because there are so many missions in this game that are unique and interesting.
Dude is recommending you to go and look up a guide.
You're gonna want to be sure to get them all, and during my playthrough of the game that spans some 40-some...
And this text being on the screen the entire time is just god-awful.
Hours of gameplay, I did my best to hit upon every single...
You should play RPG games with guides because you might miss something. It's almost like in an RPG game, missing something is the point of the game. So you can replay it and hopefully see that thing. It's not... You're not supposed to have this... how is it called? Like completionist mindset where when you're playing an RPG, because always you're gonna miss something. You're gonna play a class that is not suitable for certain weapons. It's not suitable for certain, maybe even story arcs, and so on. You're not supposed to just look up stuff on the internet just so you can see what it is. You're supposed to play the game multiple times because it's an RPG.
mission that either gave you
This is a terrible advice from a review guy.
a trophy or achievement and really felt like it had its own narrative storyline to be sure that I was doing a semi-completionist run of the game. In addition to even all of those improvements, the game sports new legendary level enemies which will drop loot, and this is a cool addition. In previous Fallout games, really you either had to just craft your own unique items at a bench or you had to find the best weapons in the game. In Fallout 4, certain high level enemies will actually drop really good weapons, armor, and things. It feels a lot more like almost a Diablo-like experience where fighting these high level enemies is going to pay off and actually give you
that is
reward
cool.
for your hard-earned win.
It is
of course, in addition to all of that, there's a brand new settlement and crafting system by which you can set up settlements all across the Commonwealth, which is what they now call Boston.
Boston? I don't mind the settlement system, but I think it is kind of tacked on and it's not really all that impressive to me.
And have settlers move in and take different positions in these different settlements, setting up defenses and stuff against invasions. You can actually have supply lines running between these settlements for the very first time, and then you can actually gather resources and supplies to craft your own weapons and armor. Yet the final major addition to the Fallout 4 game and franchise. By actually customizing your armor, you can add different attributes, strengths, weaknesses, and basically great cool improvements, even visual things like making your headlamp look a different color or have actually the Pit Boy, Vault Boy on it. It's pretty cool the amount of customization that's possible in the game, and this is all new stuff added to the franchise with Fallout 4. Now, despite all of those noted improvements, the game pretty much does kind of play very similarly to Fallout 3 in New Vegas. You're going to be wandering through the Commonwealth, you're going to be trying to solve a mystery, in this case, what happened to your son, where did he go, you're going to be helping out various people that you run into along the way, there's going to be different factions that are going to be seeking to recruit you for their own cause, you're going to have different moral choices and dilemmas that you're going to be faced with along the way, you're going to find some followers who will follow along with you on your quest, they're going to do a lot of shooting and a lot of looting, you're going to kill hundreds and hundreds of generic enemies to finally get to the boss level monsters, the rare level spawns that drop rare items, and yada yada yada. It is pretty much kind of the same formula as the previous games, and if anything, one of the major complaints that I've heard from many people is Fallout 4 just feels like Fallout 3 with a few modernizations, and honestly that's kind of a very accurate way to describe the game. Does it really go outside of its way to break the mold? No, what it does is it goes down that
I mean, the story is way worse. They really flopped the story. It's terrible. Just right from the get-go by making you the dad of some kid and giving you an identity. In an RPG like that, it's just they just flopped it immediately.
And very well-known road that Fallout 3 and New Vegas went down, but it adds in different factors for those who want to expand upon that experience. You can very well play this game ignoring the crafting, ignoring the settlements for the most part, and for a few, very few story missions that require it, you can just play this game as if it were the previous games and enjoy it at your own pace that way, or you can really delve into the new content and enjoy it for what it is, adding to the gameplay experience. So overall, Fallout 4 is a pretty lengthy game, a pretty hefty game when it comes to the amount of stuff that's in it. And although there are repetitive fetch quests, there are radiant quests that infinitely respawn, forcing you to either do gathering or killing a certain number of enemies in order to get experience, a la every RPG ever, there also is a hefty amount of unique experience stuff in there that you're going to want to do.
What does this even mean, dude?
Just going through...
This is like a shill review. It's literally like I'm listening to a shill review. Like somebody was paid to review this. And it's just all these fucking generalizations about stuff. Oh, there's so many cool things, man. It's like, it's so fun, and like you shoot the guns, and then there's choices you can make, and you explore stuff, and you collect stuff.
The story of the game is probably going to take you 8 to 10 hours tops. If you rush through it, I'm sure you could do it even faster than that. But if you're really going out of your way to experience the unique side content of the game, you're certainly going to get anywhere from 20 to 40.
Yeah, probably not 8 to 10 hours, because some of the story quests are dependent on other side quests that you need to complete, I think. So probably not 8 to 10 hours.
Hours of gameplay. Now, if you're a completionist and you want every weapon, you want to craft every high-level item in the game, you want to get every settlement and have the whole map under your control, now you're probably talking upwards of 50+ hours. For 60 bucks, that's a pretty good value, and in my opinion, it really does feel like the most complete Fallout 4 game when it comes to bang for your buck. But you know, with the positives...
This is what happens when you rush through a game, or you just like play a game and you try and review it immediately without thinking about anything that you experienced. You just don't think about it. Just put out something.
And I'm certainly not one to ignore that. Let's
see the negatives, okay? The negatives.
Look at some of the things that I didn't particularly like about Fallout 4. Number one, the most startling thing of all, the frame rate. It's still 30 frames per second, but not really, because a lot of the times when you're doing a difficult firefight with multiple enemies, or if you're running through a critical area with a lot of stuff that's kind of, you know, loading around you, the frame rate plummets. And it's funny because this was a complaint during Fallout 3, and here we are how many years later, and it's still exactly the same in Fallout 4. Now, disclosure, I played this on the Xbox One, but I've heard the same exact issues exist both on the PlayStation 4 and the PC version of the game, and that's just unacceptable. Why couldn't they advance the graphical engine to the point where it could load everything it wanted to do and not have to drop the frame rate into the toilet? I don't understand that, and I'll be honest, when you're doing some really critical fights here, it could get very difficult to try to hit what you're trying to hit, or, you know, do what you're trying to do when the game is locking up. I don't know how many times, oh, I have to do something.
Frame rate sticks out more than story, lol.
Yeah, the frame rate was a big issue, and it still kind of is to some extent. When you throw a grenade and it just drops to like 15 FPS, it's terrible.
Something really quickly, and the whole menu.
It's terrible. Big ups, Trash Man.
I'm wondering if I'm gonna die or.
I'm the Trash Man.
The game
I throw out trash all over the place.
Game bugs. I already mentioned one with.
And still has tons of bugs. So the performance is terrible, and it has tons of bugs. Keep that in mind for in 2 minutes.
I have the companions where they don't necessarily follow you everywhere they're supposed to, but there's other bugs too. Enemies will get stuck in walls and all the clipping issues of previous games. Yeah, all that stuff still exists, and it's kind of frustrating that, again, it's supposed to be the modern Fallout. It really does feel like you're kind of playing Fallout 3 with all of its shortcomings, with a lot of modern additions, but they didn't fix the issues from the previous games. And I really have to throw my hands up and say, why? What gives? Why didn't Bethesda take the time to fix these known issues from the previous installments? And so ultimately, Fallout 4 is not a perfect game.
It's not perfect because it's not perfect because it has tons of bugs and the performance is bad.
But a bag that weighs far more heavily towards the positive, with the incredible amount of content in the game, the fact that there's so many new additions and so many things that were really attempts at improving the game. For the most part, I can kind of overlook its shortcomings and the fact that Bethesda didn't fix all the problems from the last installments. It kind of is what it is. You got to take the good with the bad, and being that this was one of my...
Why is he even using VATS on this enemy? You can literally just headshot him.
Longest playthroughs ever. One of the games that I really was enjoying every moment that I played it. I wanted to take my time to do everything in the game and really do a full completionist run of it. I really enjoyed Fallout 4, and I kind of find myself saying this was an ultimately very positive experience. Those negative things really didn't nag on me too much. And so ultimately factoring...
Okay. Before we see the final score, he is the objective review guy, right? When he puts out a review, he tries to be as objective as possible. And now we injected the phrases such as, oh yeah, the shortcomings, they don't bother me at all, man. But this is not objective. This is very subjective. When you talk about your feelings and not about the facts, right?
Both the good and the bad.
Let's see, the good and the bad. We weigh them out and we see that the bad doesn't matter. Like he said, it didn't matter to him.
I'm going to give Fallout 4 a rating of 9.5
9.5.
That's right.
Literally 9.5. Almost a perfect score. Almost a perfect score from Objective Review Man.
Is one of my favorite games that I've ever done a playthrough for. It's right up there with some of the best things I've ever done. Yes, there are shortcomings.
And he's basically reviewing his fucking playthrough at this point. He said, this is one of my best playthroughs I've ever done. So you gotta jerk yourself off because your playthrough was great. He's giving himself a fucking review.
It's certainly not enough to hinder the awesome experience that this game.
This is more of a shill than an actual shill.
And I hope that the DLCs that are planned for 2016 end up being just as good as the ones from the previous Fallout games. And, you know, kind of stay in line with that Bethesda seal of greatness that we're used to. Please don't let it be
amazing.
like DLCs for
amazing.
Fallout 3. Anyone remember the...
He didn't talk about the story, if it's good or not. He didn't talk about the characters. He just said they exist. There's characters and there's moral choices. And there is a story that you get to follow and find out who your son is.
Ones that didn't even load on launch day, please let them work. But a great game overall.
Actual trash.
5 out of 10 from me.
Actual trash.
That is it for the hateful...
Oh, and we're getting a wall of text. So basically, a video like this, I think I could basically whip up in like an hour and a half. If I had to do the narration as well, I could probably make it an hour and a half. If it had to be like an 11-minute long video. I might even make it a challenge. But we're gonna see. I guess this is it for this stream, man. I kind of covered everything that I wanted to do. And I watched some cooking nonsense and some other stuff. And yeah, the dude is gonna start his stream in an hour, and I have absolutely no desire to be watching any of that shit. So let's listen to a song. And then I'm gonna be out. And then you can check into this. The Rewind number 2, KOGaming, where we're going to talk about what I just watched, and we're going to summarize how this channel started and how it was bad, and then it died. And now it's gone. Except it still exists, but you know what I mean. It's gone from his life because, yeah, you know. Enjoy this song that's going to play. It's probably level 1. Yep. Alright, see you around, you guys. Big ups.
Because you're not rich and you're not famous and you're not this and you're not that. You had an opportunity to be, but you blew it all. And I said, well, oh well. I'm proud of that. I guess I'm proud to be a loser.
This one's for all my baby girls.
I'll beat a guy on level 1. I've streamed myself masturbating. I'll beat a guy life. I'll beat it for thousands of children. I'll beat a guy on level 1.
You're still on mission 1.
I'll beat a guy on level 1. Level 1. Married happily, paycheck to paycheck happily, meaningful relationship, meaningful life with a family. And that, by the way, I have to raise money to pay 2 big bills next week. All my utilities are due next week. Tomorrow, if I stop streaming, I would not be able to get a job. So it would be the end of my life. But outside of that, everything else is good in my life. You know what I mean? So I'll beat a guy on level 1. I've streamed myself masturbating. I'll beat a guy life. I'll beat it for thousands of children. I'll beat a guy on level 1.
You're still on mission 1.
I'll beat a guy. I'll beat it thousands of children.
When your life is all positive instead of negative, it's a much better situation. Big up Skeeter Cat, and I can tell you that from personal experience. Look at my life now. I have a beautiful wife. I have a beautiful life with a family, right? Everything here is so much better than what I had before. Why? Because I'm a positive person.
Why do I say I'm not a children's entertainer? Because I'm not a Muppet. I'm not here to play a character. I'm not here to pretend that I'm something that I'm not. I don't dye my hair. I don't act stupidly constantly to get attention from children. I don't do stupid pranks. You know what I mean? I don't cause drama. I'm here just to play games and have fun. I'm a legitimate gamer.
Big up Skeeter Cat. I need banana, tasty banana, banana in my mouth, tasty banana. I need banana, tasty banana. Please don't be like comes in there. Banana in my mouth, squeeze banana. Banana in my mouth, squeeze banana. Banana in my mouth. Act and talk a certain way with certain mannerisms, certain over-the-top reactions, screaming at the top of their lungs, jumping, flailing, doing weird things, constantly on camera. I need banana, tasty banana, banana in my mouth, tasty banana. I need banana, tasty banana. Please don't be like comes in there. Banana in my mouth, squeeze banana. Banana in my mouth, squeeze banana. Banana in my mouth.
This one's for all my baby girls.
I need banana, tasty banana. Banana in my mouth, tasty banana. I need banana, tasty banana. Please don't be like comes in there. Banana my mouth, squeeze banana. Banana in my mouth, squeeze banana. Banana in my mouth.
When we hit the 250 vet streak for that celebration, I'm going to debut a new